Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Match of the Week. We're nearing the end of the regular season. This is going to be our second day casting some Week 5 games. Just one more week of regular season play left. And then we're going to be getting into some playoff action. There is just an announcement today on the CPL Discord about a potential King of the Tiers tournament. March 6th, save the date. It'll be a good time. I'm Saetzero, and with me, Cold Warpgates. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. Glad to be back on Match of the Week.
Yeah, of course. See how friendly that is? If I ask how you're doing, the Blime tries to command. He's like, "Say hello." No, absolutely not.
Nibblime's like a dictator, man. He wants you to follow the script.
I think it's just an Australia thing. Maybe the rules down there don't apply, or things all backwards. So today we got 4 series, a bunch of Tier 1, and we got one Tier 2 along the way. A lot of Protoss for me and my Protoss buddy, so it's going to be a good time. We're going to crack it right into Game 1 and get this show on the road.
Let's do it.
Okay. So in the top right, in the green, it's Kaz. He's helped us with some casting before, so he's going to be our hero today, probably. In the bottom left, in the brown, it's IKEA, TVZ, the classic matchup.
Everybody loves this matchup, except Zerg, I guess. But
I mean,
everybody likes to watch this matchup.
Nah, there's no way Zerg hates this matchup. Like, right? You get to go 2 Hatch Beauty. You have such a good time. How do you hate this matchup?
Have you listened? It's like you miss your attack by like 5 seconds and you're behind, or like stuff like that. People talk about that all the time. I don't know. Maybe I just hang out with really salty Zergs.
I mean, salty StarCraft players in general, regardless of race. That's the one thing that can bind us all together. Unless you just hate one race in particular, and it's just like, I don't know, man.
Our combined suffering is what puts us together.
Yeah. So, you know what though? Like, we're not here to be angry or think about any kind of stuff like that. Hope to see some good games tonight. Doesn't seem like we're gonna get any kind of wild opener from the Zerg. No 9 pool, no super aggression. Probably just gonna be opening with the hatchery first. At this level of play, you figure people are too wild unless you're casting Augie, right?
Exactly. Then who knows where that third hatch will be?
Now, I feel like every time we watch a lot of these games nowadays, though, it feels like a lot of these builds that were popular a while back, like not really showing up. I feel like I haven't seen a Goliath build in a while. Not really 1-1-1. Not seen a lot of mech either. So
yeah, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because on Monday, I casted Aggie and he was against mech. So
oh no.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up. But yeah, it seems like the Goliath build has really fallen out of favor.
Yeah, I think maybe is there a solution that got found that I didn't notice? Because it felt like it's like everyone's like, I don't know how to beat this, I don't know what I'm doing, and it just disappeared, and I don't know what changed.
I don't know if it has to do with the map, because I remember people saying that like you really want to be able to wall off the natural with a link tight wall when you do a Goliath build, so that could be part of it. It seemed maybe like Zerg got better at dealing with it. It seems like the answer was just like mass muta, right? It seems like from the games I remember.
It seems like I was right. I did see some people trying to like go Hydras and play a little more like, you know, how they would play against like a Protoss, like kind of take these more direct fights. So, you know, that's I don't know if that ever actually panned out. So it seems like we got.
Hey, look at this! We got a factory.
Yeah, we got a factory, and the gas was pulled off right away. So a little curious to see where it's going to go. Doesn't look like it's going to be any super hard tech, but again, some vultures on the map going to help deal with some of these early links. And although it's not like a wall or anything, so I think we're going to be relying on the micro. Excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. This is interesting because I don't know if I've seen this like get a factory and then pull all the guys off gas. Like I've seen mech players get a few vultures, but never like this hard commitment. And it looks like Advil is just going to expand. This is pretty cool. I haven't seen this exact configuration of a build before.
No, definitely interesting to see where this is going to go from here. Be able to get the command center up reasonably fast, but also go up the tech tree. And it still has the scouting SPV in the base. It sees the lair. 2 links finally going to pop, try to get some of that stuff out. It's There's a couple of legs up at the natural as well, so gonna try to drive this out, but this SV's lived long enough. He knows that he didn't see a Hydra dead in time, so like you should be knowing it's gonna be Mutus, and we're gonna see what the reaction is gonna be. Now an army on the way, so as I say it, like I'm just like, oh, I have a feeling I've seen this build forever. Of course, it happens the first game to make me look stupid. The CPL tradition.
The ultimate caster curse. So we see this vulture going across the map right now. Do you think that Kaz is aware of it? Because like with this overlord, it might look like a kind of slow like barracks expand, right? I don't know. We normally see Zerg get a sunken and some SimCity at the natural when they suspect a mech build. Oh, here we go. So the vulture is here. There's enough lings that I think the vulture has to leave. We don't have speed yet, so I think it actually might get surrounded here. I didn't know lings could do that.
Ooh, very close. Definitely had an opportunity here. Kaz managed to let the vulture escape, but it's just going for the counterattack instead. It's just forcing the vulture to come back and defend. So going to be able to get some pressure up here. I should have the names of the casters on the overlay. I made sure I did it. that's what I wasn't against, but thank you for getting that up.
It's on screen. I didn't even notice that. In the meantime, it looks like this build is actually pretty fragile here. These speedlings murdering these vultures. This is kind of the opposite of what you see normally here. There's only going to be one Marine in this bunker at most. This is looking kind of scary for Advil.
Yeah, I mean, there is an eBay already done, and he's working on the plating for the ground units, so those vultures are going to be a little more, or the Goliaths going to be more robust straight up fighting these. The Spire is about to finish, plenty of larvae and resources saved up. The money just a little bit too short, just, again, all those mutalisks right away, but I think this is still going to be a good opportunity to put on some pressure, as we're seeing some missile turrets being made, but it's not like a tremendous amount of them. It's not like we've got a chance to really start building these Goliaths yet. Even though the armory is done, it's working on the upgrades, like none are even in production.
First Goliath does finally start, but Advil, even if Advil is safe from the mutas, it's going to take a long time before you can do anything threatening on the map. I think we might see a pretty early third base. And yeah, I do like that. As soon as you were like, oh, there's no Goliath yet, bam, Goliath starts. It's flawless. Like, the caster curse is so real.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous how often it actually happens. And Goliaths are gonna be getting here, but the Muta's already on the way. 2 turns behind the mineral line, and I think there's still gonna be enough here. This bunker only has a couple Marines, so it's really gonna be up to these Goliaths to not get out of position and get killed off too quickly here. The upgrade's gonna be pretty far away, and actually investing in the carapace for the Mutalists, so looking like a little more of a long-term plan to rely on them. Gonna go in here. The turret's not getting repaired. First one goes down pretty quickly. Gonna be able to go in for the second one, but doesn't want to overcommit. Gonna pull out before they take too much damage. A couple Mutas bruised, but nothing lost.
Yeah, I was gonna think that these turrets were actually pretty well placed with this barracks, but putting them there makes it hard to repair, and Kaz took advantage of that. In the meantime, we did get a raid from Hazily Nut, so hype for that. Thank you.
A fantastic member of the best team, Rats. We're going to be the kings of the season this time. As Mutas going to keep going and try to fight these Goliaths. The number's not big enough here, but once to still stay away from that bunker. You don't want to take any free damage you don't have to. One of the Mutas does end up going down, still finding some good angles to fight where not all the defense is here, not with turrets or anything, but needs to be careful not to lose anything. I'm surprised these Goliaths aren't being repaired at all. These Mutas getting a lot of good value done early. Look at this reinforcement of Lings going forward too.
Yeah, I'm really scared for Advil here. It's so hard for him to get any significant army up.
Oh man, he's so close. If you had a little more time, you can kill that machine shop before the booster upgrade finishes, but the Ling's going in.
Surrounding the bunker. It's going to go down immediately. And I don't know if Advil's going to be able to survive this.
I mean, a decent amount of Lings did get killed when they were killing the bunker. The Muta's going down as well, so I think just barely, because you can pull in the boys, you're blocking up the ramp, and that range upgrade being finished for these Goliaths is going to make it a little bit easier to defend here, but still, some of that stuff at the wall being killed off, Lings are now much more of a threat, but we do have some factories made going to be able to actually start investing in these Goliaths, and that armor upgrade did finish, so they're going to be able to survive quite a bit longer, now working towards attack upgrades instead, so I think Advil going to be in a decent spot to survive this from here. Kaz not trying to take a third base, still just working up, trying to get some fighting force, adding on some more hatcheries back at home instead of trying to expand, and not really adding on drones either. Seems pretty committed here to keep attacking.
Yeah, I've been saying all game that I thought Terran was doomed, but it seems pretty good after that fight, actually. Starting to get that critical mass Here we go. Not enough Zerg here. Wow. Mech good. Mech good unit.
Mech good unit. It's a lot of good units. That's why Mech is just so annoying to play against. But yeah, I think there was an opportunity to get the damage done, but just a little bit of enough defense from Advil, even though there wasn't really the repairs. Like maybe attacking with the 6 mutas into those turrets a little too early. I'm not really sure what the error was there, but very committed from Kaz didn't work out that way, and unfortunately gonna drop game 1.
Alright, we do have a request to slightly turn up the game audio.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can absolutely do that. Yeah, if there's any audio balance issues you guys want to fix, please let me know. We can easily switch that, no problem at all. But right now we're going to be going into game 2, going on Polypoid. So the map order this week was Eclipse, Polypoid, and Circuit Breakers if necessary. But for game 2 in the bottom right, in the yellow, it's Kaz, currently down 1 game. And in the top left in the brown, it's IRK Advil. Now, we could speculate strategy stuff, but neither of us play these races, so it's like, let's not waste our time. How's your team been doing in the CPL so far, buddy?
Been doing all right. You know, we're having a good time. I'll put it that way.
I think that's understandable. I personally, I'm like, every time I play, I look, it's like, my name's in the list. Someone could cast my games, and I'm so thankful no one ever goes for it. It's like, oh, I'm dodging bullets. My game's been nonsense. I have not been doing super well this season. Too focused on casting instead of playing the game.
Yeah, and I like being casted, even if I lose. As long as it's not like completely embarrassing. Like if I put
some of them were completely embarrassing.
Oh no!
I had some really entertaining games too, but the last week I played was week 4 week 4, and those games I'm like, don't cast them. If someone claims their group, we're gonna message them, and then no one did anything.
Yeah, just go ahead and like delete those replays from the Dropbox folder. Like, oops, I don't know what happened there. Oh well.
I just keep getting PVZ, man. I got nothing. The matchup's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so bad at it.
I've got my first PVZ of the season this week. I've had so many PvPs.
See, I would love to have that. That sounds like the perfect matchup. Now, we are seeing from Advil, still going for that fast refiner, so I think we're going to see the same build we saw before, and considering how Game 1 went, I don't see any reason why Advil will change a single thing they did here. Especially seems like since like they were going for upgrades, they got that fast expansion, they're going for all that stuff. On a 4-player map, it seems like it's even better than it would be on Eclipse.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have no idea how this matchup works. I don't know if you can get those link tight walls that we talked about last time, but Advil also showed that he really didn't need it.
Dude, this is a very different look from Kaz this game. No, 3 hatch before pool. Wants to really get something going here instead.
Yeah, I don't know if I
very
ever
different look.
Seen that. And he did it like sight unseen, like no drone scout, you know, not even the timing of the SCV. So here we go. Is Advil even going to sniff out that third base? You have to be very on top of looking at the health on the pool and things like that, right?
Yeah, well, considering that the SV got here as the pool barely got started, there's a chance he almost saw it not even be done. But if you take a look at the health there and you have a good idea, we got that factory opening again. So if there's not a sunken at the front, there's no way there's going to be enough lanes really in time to stop these vultures. No way you're going to have speed done in time to help deflect it either. So I think the vulture opening here might have a bigger chance to do a lot more damage. We're seeing another drone scout go out here, so eventually Kaz is going to find out where his opponent is and probably feel comfortable it's cross map after going for a greedy opening like this.
Yeah, that's true, but I think you're right about the vultures. It's going to be so hard to cover all this ground. The natural and the third to keep them both safe.
Yeah, it's going to be super difficult.
Yeah.
Like units might be able to do a better job, but I think you're going to need static defense. The only hope here is that third base doesn't get spied off. I'm not sure if you're going to do something like this, if that's even like the normal location. The drone gets to the front, sees a couple of range, just immediately turning around, doesn't even want to try to go through that. So again, like this vulture, not going to get unseen, not going to be known about until it's on the map killing stuff.
Here we go. Here, that first vulture is ready. It's going to scoot right past that drone. Oh, nope, it's going to kill that drone. Nice.
Yeah, I think you take the kill here. There's no real
Yeah.
reason to. Now there is a sunken being made up the front, so that's gonna help dissuade this vulture immediately. But still, it's so far away from a Zergler's speed being done. No real units on the map, and that third base is just praying that it stays in darkness, doesn't get found out. But a Lair's on the way. Mutas are gonna be, in a reasonable time frame here. I think it's not gonna be so bad here, and the sunken's gonna finish just in time before the vulture gets to show up.
Hey, so Sunken is up. I really don't think that Advil is savvy to this third base. You know, this vulture isn't even trying to check. It's going right back home. It looks like.
Yeah, I think Advil maybe dropped the ball a little bit when he got there. Maybe didn't click on the health of the pool. I know I do that every single time because like when we're playing PvZ, that's how you tell if it's over pool or 9 pool or something. So
I mean,
I assumed everyone
do
does it, but I guess not.
I do it every game, but I'm frequently just wrong about what pool number it is. So I sympathize with Advil here. You know, like there has to be like some word for this feeling in StarCraft where you see your opponent doing something weird or off, and you don't know if they're bad and you're about to win, or they're really good and you're about to lose, right? Because like if you get into Zerg's base and you see this pool late, you're like, oh, he's just messed up his build, he got his pool late, right? But no, he has a third base up. That kind of stuff happens all the time.
Yeah, I think that's scarier when if you play someone on a ladder and they're in their placement game still, so they don't have like MMR show up. You're like,
Oh yeah, you have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, now see a couple vultures moving out here. They're towards the bottom side, maybe sniffing it out, but we're gonna see if they go look or they're gonna just try to out muscle that one sunken. They're gonna kill that lane that moves out here. So seeing that there's a couple vultures on the map. Now we are seeing mutas are on the way, plus 3 sets of Scourge. I think that was an accident, wasted a lot of gas on that one. A larva. This is really going to slow down Cause. That is like a tragic kind of mistake that's so easy to make with Zerg.
Yeah, I think the Scourge even got canceled. This is why you changed the hotkey to something other than S.
Yeah, possibly. That might be the way to go. Now, he did cancel. He's going to save the gas, but it's still slowing out so much. And even let one pair just fly off and finish. I guess you can use that to scout a little bit, but this is slowing down the mutas. Turrets are definitely up in time. Charm boosters will be reasonably ready, too. The mutas are going to at least be able to defend off the vultures. And Kaz is droning up a little bit more behind us, given how the hatchery opening we had here. But, man, that's a fumble you don't want to see.
That's always rough. Fortunately, at least these Scourge are good for scouting. A question mark. I mean, they're pretty fast. They are going to get turned away by these turrets. Or nope, they're not. They're diving right in there, getting as much vision as they can ahead of the mutas.
I mean, seeing the factory count, seeing the armory churning out, you have an expectation of what you saw in Game 1. Now, Kaz knows how the defense went from that first game. Curious to see if there's going to be an adaptation on what we see. No investment in the Muta upgrades this time, actually going for Hydra's speed, so looking like that transition into getting more of a ground-based army instead, not relying on the Mutas. Don't know if that was just because of the fumble with the Scourge or a pre-planned decision to try something a little different. These Goliaths, though, are just so brutal with this upgrade. It's just hard to navigate around them. Even that barracks going to help give them a little bit of vision. Buy time for these turrets to get up in the mineral line.
Yeah, Bill is doing a good job making use of this barracks. By the way, do you see this worker stuck behind the natural mineral line? Like, doesn't it look like there's plenty of space for that SCB to leave?
It looks like it, but like, no,
there's so much space there.
Yeah, hitboxes in this game, man. We don't need to talk about hitboxes in this game. It makes no sense sometimes. But it's a game from 20 years ago. They didn't know better.
Exactly. So I've seen this Hydra response to mech before, but it seems like the problem is if Terran sees the Hydras, they start to mix in tanks. And like as a Protoss player, I hate tanks, but Hydras have it seems like even a worse time with tanks than goons do.
Yeah,
I just get melted by tanks.
Yeah, and even just Goliaths in general are not that bad at fighting them either. They're such a strong unit overall. You're seeing a lot of factories being added on here, really kind of powering up this Terran army. And I wonder if they're going to be trying to take a third base, or this is a pretty substantial Goliath army. The upgrades for the attack pretty far away, not going to finish quite in time, but still comfortable getting some presence on the map, trying to find some opportunity. The mutant count did get built up quite well, now starting to add Hydras into the mix. I think if Kazi's going to find an opportunity for a decent fight, this might be it. He's going to go in for it now. These Goliaths still going to be able to deal lots of damage to these mutas. Not quite enough Hydras to fight this. Hard to tell what's going on with all these missiles firing everywhere, but still Terran retreating off. I think Kazi's getting something done here, but losing a lot of mutas in the process.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be sort of a Pyric victory for Zerg here. He's going to win this push, but take a ton of damage, and Advil is still like double the worker count. He's got plenty of reinforcement that is natural. He's not really in danger of losing the game here. And all these meters are so bruised. Yeah, even these reinforcements do pick one off, and we see that tank coming out with siege mode on the way. So next time Advil is going to be ready for those Hydras.
Yeah, and I don't love what we're seeing here. The moment that he goes in, he goes for that attack, he loses a lot of the mutas. Now he starts upgrading the air carapace. Like, what's the like? Wouldn't you do that earlier?
Should have had air armor.
Yeah, like that wasn't the problem here, I don't think. But still seeing an investment in the mutas and an investment in the anti-air, but you can add on just enough tanks to make these Hydras much harder. We do see Kaz trying to posture forward, see what they can get going. They're not droning up substantially hard. They're not trying to take another base here instead. And you can look at Advil. Look at that worker count. The economy is really kicking. Has plenty of factories here. If Kaz's going to make an attack, he's going to have to do it soon before this gets out of control.
Here we go. Advil getting ready to move out with a +1 attack and siege mode finishing. Kaz has a very nice position on this high ground, though. Let's see if he can take advantage of that.
Yeah, a little bit of scanning going down. Tries to scan the Zerg main. Sees that there's no hive even started yet, so maybe have an idea of what we're seeing here. But a push out from Advil here. Here comes that flank from Kaz. This is going to be enough, though.
Tanks are not sieged. One goes down really fast. It's going to make it that much harder to deal with all these Hydras. A Muta's diving on the second tank, but I think all the Mutas are going to go down.
That's still, siege mode's done, but no siege tanks actually doing that. I think Advil moved out, lost a lot of units for not too much. Finally, one tank being sieged off in the back. The Hydra's trying to move forward and dive in on it. They're going to be able to get the kill. They're in the range of the bunker, but there's still only 2 Marines doing some pretty big damage here. But now we're fighting the units that Hydra's not so great against. They're not great at killing SCVs. These Goliaths going to be able to do some damage. This is going to buy time for more reinforcements from the Terran, while Kaz is not reinforcing this attack at all.
Hydras really are bad versus SCVs. That was ridiculous.
Oh, dude, they're terrible. I think it's like 12 shots to kill one. It's really, really bad. That's why, like, when all that, like, Hydra against, like, the 1-1-1 stuff was really popular, I would just see someone, like, attack into a bunker, and I'm like, no, you can't do it, man. A couple vultures down did sneak out from Advil. I think they're looking for these other bases, and if you take a look at that third, there's one sunk in here, but I still think there's gonna be an opportunity. Scan goes down to find that third.
Finally figured out where it was.
Yeah, but has no idea how long it's actually been up, but still maybe gonna find an opportunity with vultures, try to get some damage done. And you see Kaz trying to posture again, still at that same spot, occupying that high ground. But Advil's not even trying to take a third base. They're just powering up here. They're like getting a pretty substantial army up. So I think if one of these fights goes a little bit worse for Kaz, it's going to be a lot of trouble, especially once this tank count actually grows up to be something substantial. Ooh, a couple mines being laid off to the side. If Kaz kites back trying to fight that and kites into those mines, that could be a nightmare.
See, I don't know. We're going to see like Zerglings to mine bomb that we see in, like we see Unproduced players try to do. I don't know if that's even possible in this matchup. Here we go, some vultures going into the Zerg third, trying to find a little nook here where they can do some damage.
That's still, I think they're finding a little opportunity here. They're moving a little too far forward, but still, if they can get a couple of these patches not mining, just shoot what they can. You got a couple mines laid too, so if any kind of reinforcements come. Some units trying to patrol the map, finding a couple more vultures, going to be able to clear things out. But here comes Advil trying to step out to the map. Has a decent amount of tanks here, a decent amount of Goliaths, bringing a couple of the boys too for repairs if needed. Going to try to attack this high grounded. Look, there's not a lot of units here, no real concave either. Kaz going to have to give this up or lose a lot of units.
Well, it looks like he's going to try to fight it, but the siege tanks finally doing a decent amount of damage on these big Hydra balls.
I don't like this. He loses all the Hydras. As the mutas are going to roll through now, the Goliaths are just thankful for the opportunity to fight some of these mutas like this. The third CC even lands, but there's just not going to be Zergans to really do anything about it. You even see Advil having a little bit of trouble spending the money they have, but still enough army to win this fight without too much trouble at all.
Yeah, all those mutas went down to the third base to stop the Vultures, but I feel like if they were there from the start, Zerg would have won this fight and denied this third.
Yeah, a little uncomfortable here. Advil going to be able to set up that third base. Mines are going to definitely help out a lot. And a lot of scans going down. Going to confirm that Kaz still on 3 bases. And so didn't manage to take any more economy. And they're not even working up that tech tree. Still just a lair. I don't even think there's a Queen's Nest even started. So Hive Tech would be very significantly far away. It feels like Kaz might be locked into the comp he chose. But he's going to get worse over time. So I don't love the decision at all.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this pans out. So Zerg has kind of been stuck on this Muta Hydra tech for a long time. Terran, basically just making tank Goliath for a long time. But with a third base, maybe we'll start to see, some drops or some science vessels. That is going to be hard now that I look at it because there's no gas at this third base. But we do have a starport with a control tower finish. So yeah, there's some idea of development coming out of Advil here.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to even just add more factories. And it's like, at this point, you have decent upgrades. You're going to have a decent army, because a lot of the Terran units being made right now are going to be good against what Zerg's going to throw at them. I think you need to move up here. We're seeing a base attempted to be taken over to the side, but a couple Vultures going to move out. At least scout that out. And look, we're seeing Kaz trying to take a little bit of a fight here, but he knows he can't move up that ramp. There's no way that's going to be a good path to try and attack here. But the Vultures moving through, they're going to start laying mines, try to get some harassment done down this lower left base. I think it's probably just going to get some muted attention. But the Vultures doing a good job of trying to get mines and see what's going on with the Zerg. I think they want to move out and try to shut down that base, but I don't know if that's really the best decision. But we're seeing Advil starting to move down that ramp. Not with the siege tanks, but plenty of other units instead.
There you go. Here, the tanks are bringing up the rear here. And this army looks really scary. I don't think what Zerg has right now can deal with it. But maybe with these fake out movements, Kaz can force his opponent to stay back rather than threaten his base.
Yeah, some Hydras did go down to the bottom left to save that expansion, but at least the knowledge is now known there that there's a base over there, so you can start posturing the way you want. I do like how Advil has this set up. Mines are off to the side, so if he wanted to move out down through the third, down southward, there's mines to help slow down that counterattack path. And it's still plenty of little bases, a lot of opportunities to move things around here. And these Vultures going to find a couple Hydras up at the 12 o'clock. It looks like Kaz going to try to move forward here. And some of these mines going to slow things down, but a lot of siege tanks really going to be doing the bulk of the job.
Yeah, and it looks like Advil is trying to secure this fourth base location, but this smaller Zerg army is able to just scare these Vultures away. It's going to take a little bit for Advil to reposition his tanks and everything to take this high ground.
I mean, still, he's got so much money coming in here. 72 workers, has these 3 bases. Tons of minerals being flowed out, too. Really starting to move into the middle of the map here. There's a decent amount of lives, but not a whole ton here. These mutas coming in from the back side. There's a little bit of mutas in the, a little bit of lives to help propel them. Make sure they don't get on top of the tanks. The upgrade is looking pretty decent here. And you can see Kaz trying to find opportunities, trying to maneuver the army around and catch his opponent out of position, but Advil doing a good job not overcommitting. Muta's going into these turrets, going to take a bunch of free damage, and mind hits are really big here too. The attack on that third's going so poorly.
Yeah, some more Mutas coming from behind, but there's just too much anti-air here. All these Mutas are going to get cleaned up, and now Advil, I think, knows that he just wiped out the army. It looks like he's thinking about crossing the map, and I think he can do it.
I mean, look at that supply difference. This is like an 80 supply lead. It's tons of workers. So even if the attack didn't go well, Terran has the economy to back that up and not have a problem here. And looking like finally a couple Goliaths going to move to the 12, try to push out that Overlord, get control of the next base for Terran. But a big push forward down to the bottom left. There's a little bit of units here, but too many tanks, too many Goliaths. None of this is going to be able to repel this force. And Advil, if they just want to walk to that base and kill it, I don't think there's anything here that's going to be able to stop them. Still shocked, Kaz still locked into this tech here, not even going towards Hive. And you can see that this is getting just worse and worse. The effectiveness falling rapidly for these basic units.
think you're right. Cause kind of got stuck in this like mid-game composition. We don't see like those massive like swarms of queens. We don't see defilers or anything like that. And Advil's like meaty mech army is just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, pretty far forward here. Even tanks in the front sieging down that base. They don't care about the position at all, but there's still so many. Mutas are going to be the only thing trying to do this. There's still enough Goliaths here going to be able to repel this without too much of a problem. And even without the upgrades really rolling through for the Terran army, there's still going to be plenty to here. The Mutas trying to eliminate these. The Goliaths starting to whittle down, but you can see the Mutas not lasting long enough. And Kaz is going to get lost in 2 games pretty convincingly, I would say.
And yeah, after seeing these 2 games, I'm going to question again why Mech fell out of favor. It seems really good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Now, I will say, I think there was a big fumble with making a Scourge that slowed down that first Muta attack that really affected the rest of the game.
Definitely.
But there's still decisions that we saw that they caused. They went to take more bases or working up the tech tree, trying to do something, but they locked into that mid game when the mid game position just wasn't that great to begin with, I don't think.
Well, I think you're right.
Yep, so we're going to get started in our next thing, but just now we got a little more people here. Just check out the CPL Discord. We did do a little bit of announcement just earlier today about the King of the Tiers tournament, one of our little off-season actions is going to happen between the regular season, between the playoffs. We're going to have a little bit of break after this week before we get into the playoff play. That's going to be March 6th. Save the date. Details will be listed sooner. And with that, we're going to get into our second series of today.
Let's do it.
Alright, in the top right, in the red Protoss, it's a Stanel. He's been around for a while. We know that guy. And in the bottom left, in that pale green, also Protoss, it's Ash Blacksun.
Alright, let's go PvP, everyone's favorite matchup.
Hey, like, okay. I think, even if you don't like mirrors that much, as a viewer experience, PvP's probably the best one to watch. Like, TVT... that can get boring. Everyone knows it. ZVZ, it's like, oh, one lane killed one drone and that snowballed the game out of control. It doesn't make any sense. At least this feels a little more like normal, quote-unquote, StarCraft. You get like some storms, you get some Reavers, you get some high action moments. So as far as the matchup goes, this isn't that bad. Unless you're playing it and you don't understand it, then it's a nightmare. It's just the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I actually do like this matchup a lot. Even as a viewer, I mean, there can be so many like variations of builds and like so many different like matchups that can happen between different builds. And there's a lot of like really zany stuff that can happen. So I unironically appreciate this matchup.
Well, I think the big thing is just it has this misconception of being like very coin flippy or very random, and it's like Raid was like 85% win rate over a lot of games. It can't be random if someone can figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I had felt the same way about ZVZ too, back when like Jadon was at his prime and he was just like out of control in the matchups. Like, no, like there's something to this matchup. You guys just need to get good.
Well, I don't know if it's true myself, but I saw this like Team Liquid thread that looked at a bunch of Jaedong's games over his career, and his really high win rate was because in the situations where his build was ahead, he never lost. And then in a situation where his build was behind, it was kind of like the typical win rate.
Yeah,
which is kind of like which is a cool thing to note. In the meantime, we have Black Sun going for 2 gate. Looks like Stanel got his own second gate in response. And we talked about it before. 2 gate in this matchup is like if you ever try to ladder as Protoss, you just have to learn how to deal with this because you're going to see it so often and it can be so rough.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad though, especially on Eclipse. You got a little extra time to move through. It's like you saw that, like he got the scout in for Stanel. He sees it, he makes the second gateway, and he already has the assimilator. Now I'm surprised he's not making any kind of he's not mining gas. And look at this Manor Pylon getting a lot of probes trapped. They're not attacking the pylon, so this is a great Manor Pylon we saw from Blackstone. Great maneuver here to catch things up a little bit. And you can see he's gonna have to make some zealots. They're gonna be out of position, which means they can't be blocking the ramp. This actually, I love the play we're seeing from Blackstone, managing to get that Manor Pylon. Seems like everything's planned here, and I like that the style. I've seen a lot of people start to do this, and he's not like going 2-gate and then getting gas and doing like this delayed thing. He's actually really committing to this 2-gate. I think it's going to be for a reasonably fast expansion. I love playing this kind of style. It's super fun. This pylon's eventually going to go down, but the Zealot's back there attacking it. The first one moving across the map, and look, Sale moved one Zealot down just to invite this guy in. It's like, come on in, it's going to be super fun.
There you go. But I don't like that Black Sun isn't moving out with his follow-up Zealots. Maybe it's just because he saw the fast 2 gates from Stanel and didn't think he could get damage done. But you really you want to just cross the map with the Zealots, you know. Hope that your opponent makes a mistake. Force him to make more Zealots himself.
Now I'm gonna disagree with that, because if the style we're seeing here, where it's the Zealots straight to an expand, if you over attack and lose the Zealots, you have less to dissuade a counterattack from Dragoons that are gonna really make things difficult. And you can see here, get this fast Nexus going for a forge, so it's gonna be able to like get that extra protection from cans, get that detection to make sure DTs aren't the answer. And you even see Stanel recognizing, like, you meant 2 gates. I haven't seen any more stuff. I think you're expanding. He's taking the fast expansion, so a good reaction we're seeing. And now look at these Zealots moving across the map. It's 5 versus 4, so there's a little bit of advantage for Black Sun, but the micro has to be good.
Let's see here. So nice focus fire on that first Zealot. Oh, Black Sun. He decides to back up for now rather than continue that fight. And we have the 5th Zealot for Stanel showing up. It's going to be more even now. Oh, but one Zealot does get picked off here. Here we go. This is peak of Broodware, everybody. Zealot for Zealot. Seems like Stanel is getting the better end of it.
Yeah, this is what peak PvP looks like. Everyone complains it's all Dragoons and Reavers, but no, it's Zealots. It's Zealots punching each other with honor. Now, Black Sun did get a little bit of the better edge, but there's still that defender advantage. And Black Sun's not reinforcing this attack at all.
Those are very ambitious cannon to put that there right in front of all those Zealots. Man, and Black Sun keeps getting the better trades. I keep thinking that he's going to be forced out of here, but he's picked off, like, I think, like 2 or 3 more Zealots than he's lost.
Yeah, I'm just really surprised there was no reinforcements moving forward. And you can even see the way he's got played. Man, queuing up a lot of probes, not liking that for Black Sun. A lot of minerals being eaten up on not actually making anything. A little unfortunate. So even despite the slightly faster Nexus, Black Sun down on workers a little bit. Stanel having that pretty reasonable defense of going through. They're even going to be able to get cans on the way. So both players doing pretty similar builds here. And it feels like Stanel just using that defender's advantage, getting himself in a decent spot. I'm curious to see who's going to go from here, because there's finally a cybernetics core done. It's for Black Sun. It's starting to work in the Dragoon range, but
yeah, I just want to say that I didn't mean to cook.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, but like Stanel was the player who's going for the more standard tech, and his cyber core just started. Meanwhile, the Goon range just started for Black Sun. So like, despite being the 2-gate player, he has the better tech now.
Yeah, it's a little wild. Although Stanel has a lot of gas banked up, so the moment that Cybercore finishes, it really invests heavily into that tech start, that Dragoon production, while also working towards that Robo, working towards Storm, whatever they choose to go for here. Both players just comfortable macroing up. No one's even trying to put presence on the map at all. And I think Black Sun, that it makes sense for them. They saw 2 cans going up. You see that there's still units being made from Stanel. So it's going to be, when that tech happens, the Cybercore, is it going to be something useful in combat, or who's going to add on a bunch more gateways, or be that first bold person to go for a fabled 3rd base in Protoss vs. Protoss?
Yeah, wow. So I think the like ideal follow-up to all of these like kind of cheesy fast expand builds is like a 6-gate Goon attack. And the alternative, which I should have waited to mention, is you follow up with DTs. In this situation, I really don't like DTs because Black Sun already knows that Stanel has cannons, right? Like, there's no chance of these DTs doing any damage.
Well, this doesn't have to be for DTs.
And they're both doing it.
This could just be for Storm. It could be for Zealot legs, too, if you want to slam down a bunch of gateways. I think we're past the point where DTs trying to be tricky is really the answer. You even see Stanel being responsible, has one cannon in the main just to protect against drops if it did end up happening.
That's true. Ooh. Maybe that's just like my that's like me projecting my Protoss my bad Protoss play on these players, because I absolutely would have gone for DTs, because I go for DTs like every game.
Yeah, it seems a little bit rough here. Now, it looks like Black Sun, they sent a probe out. They don't know if it's going to be for scouting pylons or if they're going to be trying to take that third Nexus. Both players just trying to do a good job back home, mackery up. Stanley doing a lot better with that worker production. Black Sun was up 1 at one point, now down a pretty significant amount. And we're seeing at least upgrades coming through for Stanley. He's working on the first attack upgrade, working on those Zealot legs too, adding on some extra gateways. And we're finally seeing both players move out and fight in the middle. Black Sun's got the low ground though, needs to retreat, doesn't want to take a fight like that, but still has a superior goon count.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's more goons for Black Sun, but more Zealots for Stanley. It's like one of those micro challenge maps.
Well, I think once you get Zealot legs, I'll take the Zealot side of that every day of the week. Like that's the way you want to be once you get Zealot legs.
Absolutely,
they're nearing completion now.
Yeah.
All right, finally starting to see a little bit more deviation in the builds as well. That Templar Archives is done and started to work on some Templars as well for Black Sun. And I'm not seeing any Templar Archives like done or on the way yet. First Stand looking like they're adding on more gateways, going to be leaning more into those speed zealots instead, and even working on getting that observatory so they can keep eyes on what's going on. Black Sun trying to take that third base over on the side, but another little engagement up in the middle. Both players trying to see if maybe they could sneak in, get that extra high ground, but I think the battle lines are drawn. Both players not going to try to push their luck too much.
Yeah, and I think that this situation will favor Black Sun if he can get this third up and get his probe production back on track. Because with that storm, I think he's going to be better on the defense.
Well, he's got Templar, but he didn't research Storm yet, right?
Oh no, really?
Yeah, just starting now. Yeah, just starting now. So, I hope it's one of those you build the Templar, you build an energy, not one of those the fight has begun. Highlight the Templar, hit T. Oh no, like
yeah. Oh, but now that I look at it, so Stanel is already at 6 gateways, and we only have 4 for Black Sun. So Black Sun could get overwhelmed here, especially without Storm. We'll see here. Yeah, speed is done for Stanel. He's getting ready to charge up this ramp.
Yeah, and this Storm's not done at all. This is gonna be rough. Look at these Zealots charging forward.
Get picked off.
Ooh, Stanley getting a great engagement here. This army is in a better spot to fight these speed zealots, getting in the mix. You see Black Sun having to retreat so much here, losing already a bunch of units. There is one DT here, and I don't know if there's an observer. There is one observer with the army, so the DT is not going to be able to make some kind of crazy miracle. Back at home, though, Stanley is starting up their third Nexus own, so it's not going to be too far behind his opponent, but still that infrastructure looking a lot better for everything. It's going to be able to make some observers. They have the robotics done, so even drop play is going to be a thing that you can work towards, because storm drops in this matchup as the game gets later and later and your army position gets so difficult to maintain. That seems good. Stanley found this third base. They're going to go for it, but there's some zealots on the ramp and some cannons. That's going to make it hard to go through, and I think Stanley's going to give that up quickly.
Right there. That DT does get picked off in the middle of the map. Stanley doesn't have to worry about that sneaking into his base.
Yeah.
Oh, but there is one zealot from Black Sun somehow barely managed to make his way up there. The zealots of Stanel are sitting at the bottom of the ramp. This reminds me of one of my games where I'm like screaming at my units while they're not defending anything.
Yeah,
all the time.
And we're seeing everything from Stanel being put all out of position to go defend this one thing. He had 2 zealots there at that ramp. He didn't have to move out of position like this, so I'm not really a fan of that. But both players just feeling comfortable building up here still. Stanel now working on their own storm. Black Sun's is done, so we're going to have the opportunity to get that. And we're seeing more gateways get added on. This pro production is kicked pretty good for both players here as they're starting to transfer and saturate those third bases. So it doesn't feel like there's any big lead for either player at the moment, other than Storm being completed for Black Sun. But he's not trying to start a fight at all, and we're seeing Stanel move out comfortably onto the map again. Black Sun really needs to add on some gateways, though. You can see he's starting to have trouble spending his money. That's only going to get worse.
Yeah, in the meantime, Stanel putting up a 4th base, and it looks like Black Sun's going to do the same thing. So it looks like we're going to head into one of those like really long PvPs where we see like a million storm drops and just like units dying in the middle of the map for no reason. Just like giant armies clashing into each other.
Yeah, something like that seems like an option for sure. We see a couple zealots moving out. There's going to at least be some scouting info trying to stop something out, but Stanel getting control of that nice high ground pod right outside of the natural. So if they want to go for a fight, it's going to be available. And I'm surprised. I'm looking at these armies. I'm not seeing a lot of Templars here, not a lot of splash damage. So given that it's just heavy gateway stuff, I would love to see a couple more storms. Black Sun trying to move forward. We're going to go walk right to Stanel's army. This high ground advantage is going to be good. Storm done for both players and plenty of high Templar here. but I don't know if the energy is there. Plenty of energy on both sides, but
So
no one's going for a storm.
Templar from Black Sun, they just go, they charge up the ramp and don't cast anything. The army control from Black Sun kind of falling apart. He's losing a ton of Templar here, and now Stanley's going to be threatening the natural.
Yeah, if you can get in and really choke up that production, it's going to be good. Black Sun did make a move at Sandal's 4th base to cancel it with a couple speed zealots, but he's got so much to worry about back home. Now moving down with the rest of his army, trying to flank in, force this fight to happen, but I'm not sure if Black Sun really wants to do that. All the Dragoons away from the zealots, though, taking some big damage. That first storm not getting a lot done, getting whiffed out, but still, lots of units here for Stano, really pushing forward. Good storm on both sides as this fight keeps continuing. Black Sun's out of zealots, though. Stano has so many, and you can see the damage being done. Pros being killed, natural, getting control of that whole area. And it looks like reinforcements from both sides are not as fast as you would like to see here. So I'm curious to see where this fight's going to be going. It's really speed zealots versus these Dragoons. And Stano feeling comfortable just keeping the pressure on. And he's gonna, I think this is a great fight, and he's getting a big lead here. Look at that supply gap. It was pretty similar before, and Stanley was just bursting ahead.
Yeah, and those storms on the probe line put him so far ahead. He's 20 probes ahead now. That's a really huge lead. And he's managed to clear out those zealots from his 4th base, so we'll probably see that come online soon.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
he's like bottom right base, it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like it might be something there, but I don't think you're even worried about 4th base at this point. Stanley's still pressuring through. He's going to be able to kill the Nexus. That's at the natural. There's plenty of army here, and he's going to be able to clean up this fight. That Archon does go down, and more reinforcements from Black Sun. Still, there is this one Templar out here, a little bit short on energy, but it looks like finally the defensive reinforcements for Black Sun. But here comes more from Stanley. It's going to keep going back and forth like this. I'm not sure who's getting the better trade of it as it keeps developing. It looks like it's Stanley, but then there's a little wave from Black Sun that keeps giving just a little bit more hope. That Storm's almost ready to go. This might be the thing that turns the fight. Maybe?
There you go.
Alright, good enough. It's going to force things away, but still, the Nexus got killed. But look at these reinforcements. Stanley just going to keep attacking here. He's not worried about any of this.
Stanley knows he's up. He knows that even if he loses this fight, he's still getting more bases up and more economy, but that doesn't even matter because he's just overpowering these waves from Black Sun. And there you go.
Yeah, a nice little long PvP we see from the two players. And I'm actually really surprised at how that developed into the mid game. Yeah, it's just like there wasn't any big moment where it's like, oh, something crazy happened. Just Stanley won one landside fight, I guess because he had more zealots or something. Like it wasn't like some magic storm or anything.
Yeah.
It was just weird to see it develop to that point, and just nothing really happened.
Yeah, I feel like what happened was like Black Sun was like trying to go up that ramp, and he didn't even like think that Stanley would be there, so he wasn't looking, and he took a bunch of free shots, and he had some Templar like go to the wrong place, which I could definitely sympathize with. But yeah, it PvP, like you can lose fights, but you have to be doing damage. Like you can't be taking free damage.
I mean that. Well, we can talk about that. I don't know about that, but in game number 2 on Polypoid in the bottom right. In the red, it's BSL Stanley after a pretty convincing final fight there to get that first win. And the bottom left in the navy blue, it's Ash Black Sun, picking the most obnoxious color to watch for storm drops on a minimap.
So there was a probe that top probe didn't mine until just now. I feel very sorry for Black Sun. I hate when that happens. Probe's just like you like slightly misclick by 1 pixel, so the probe isn't mining.
Oh, that's the worst. But like, if that happens to me, I don't ever notice it right away. I notice it when it's like, how come I can't make my pylon yet? It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
That is definitely a bad feel when those kind of things happen. But I mean, it got caught pretty quickly. I don't think any big issue here. Now, I'm curious to see if we're going to see the same kind of build from both players. Now we're on a 4-player map trying to do that early Zealot pressure. It's a little bit dicier here, but Blackstone wasn't super aggressive with the Zealots. He saw the defense wasn't going to happen. He was very comfortable taking the Nexus, staying back at home. So I wouldn't be surprised if he still does that build here without any issue. Stanley going to be blessed enough, though, to get this early scout off on his opponent.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like 2-gate is worse on a 2-player map just because it gets scouted way earlier. But I think there's some argument to be had back and forth on that topic.
Yeah, definitely something you can discuss here. And actually, look at that. I don't know what's happening here with a little bit of the orb, but you can see that there's actually already a pretty sizable lead for Stanel here. That gateway halfway done. Well, Blackstone hasn't even
Well,
started
oh,
yet.
I thought we were going to see a 12 next with these cute probes. Maybe we were going to see that, and then he got scouted first, and he's like, oh man, what do I do now? Like, how do I react to this?
Yeah.
Looks like he is going to go back to getting 2 gates. And Stanel has done that himself as well. So it looks like we're going to see kind of a repeat of game 1.
Well, a little bit of a difference this time. Stanel started the 2 gates first, and Black Sun did it blind. There's no scout there to see what Stanel's doing. So Stanel saw how late that first gate was, like, oh, I have a great idea, and just added the second gate to go with it. So I'm curious to see if that was an adaptation just from what he saw. Working on those early zealots here and still keeping that scout alive. Black Sun has not moved out on the map at all for scouting info. He's playing a little bit with fire here, playing in the dark, but I think if he's just comfortable being defensive, this isn't the worst thing. And getting this similar, so not going to be that heavy zealot style this time. I think we are actually going to move into getting a cybernetics core. Just use this to get a decent Dragoon fighting force early on.
Yeah, I feel like Blackstone was not intending to do this game. I really think that he was planning to 12 next. And
Oh no, I do that too. When you queue the pro, she's like, I know what I want. You don't even worry about it, so there's no chance to mess it up. So I am inclined to agree with you. I think that did happen. Yeah, we're gonna see what the adaptation is, though. He went for this. It's in a way that you don't really want to go. If he gets that cyber core up, which there it is right there, not too delayed at all. Now, this is the kind of thing you can go towards 2-gate robo, that classic style build, but maybe if you're doing something like this and the timings are a little bit off of what you want, maybe you go for like 3-gate Dragoon or something a little more aggressive, something with a little more presence on the map here, especially against now that he's scouted forward. Saw 3 zealots on a ramp. You didn't get to push forward, but when you see 3 zealots like that, you know it's 2 gateways making a lot of zealots early on. And Stanel getting the latest similar too. This is the style I've been seeing more of. Like this 2 gates and then eventually gas and eventually stuff, and I don't know, I don't get it.
I don't do it too often myself, but I've heard players who do it advocate for it because it's like you're super safe at the start of the game, right? Like if you make 2 gates blind, like you shouldn't die to any fast rushes, right? And then you get a chance to be aggressive, like with your first 3 zealots, right? Like you don't have to commit, but if the other player messes up, you can kill some probes, right? And then you get your tech started at like a pretty decent time. You're not gonna be able to like rush for DTs or something like that, but I feel like that's why people like it. It's safe. It's relatively simple to pull off. You don't have to rely on like really clutch micro to defend against rushes.
Yeah, well, you're saying that this is something, maybe sending out 3 zealots, send out harassment. Stanel is setting out the whole football team right away. He does not care at all.
6 zealots trying to cross the map. And he even pylon blocked the expansion here from Black Sun.
Oh, man.
He just walked right up the ramp.
Yeah, there was zealots. If they blocked that, that would have been better here. Didn't want to lose that first pylon. Got out of position. And look at these zealots are in here. There's no Dragoon range for Black Sun. It's not even started. He's going to have trouble microing against this on all fronts. These zealots are going to go march across the map. Stanel's going to be able to get a big lead here. He's attacking probes. He's attacking units. He's getting a great exchange here.
Yeah, this is why it's so hard to deal with 2-gate. Like, you have to look at like 3 different parts of your base, trying to kite units, trying to pull probes, trying to have your own zealots focus fire. But Black Sun is having a hard time dealing with all this. He's behind like 3 probes now. Although now it looks like Stanel might be the one who's scared, right? Because we have like 5 zealots to 1. We don't even have an expansion coming up. We do have a citadel.
Yeah, I think what we ended up seeing though from Black Sun, how he did get that 3rd gateway, like I was saying, like for the potential to go into a big Dragoon play. As Stanel showed up, that did allow him to build zealots fast enough to repel this attack. So I think that really helped out here. Now Stanel's working towards Dragoon production on their own. They're not trying to take that base. The pylon that was blocking the Nexus did get killed, but no development towards it. We're just initially getting a photon cannon up at the front. I'm curious to see if it is going to be an early Nexus or if this is kind of a red herring and Black Sun's going to build up for an attack.
Both players are going for 3-gate citadel. This is really funny. Like, I feel like both these players, like for like completely different reasons, keep going the same build.
Yeah, I mean,
It's very wild.
if it works, I guess. Like both players, are like, man, this guy's so smart. I don't know what to do against him. Like they're
Yeah.
just doing the same thing. But Standal is getting an advantage here, starting the Nexus pretty far before the opponent here. It's just the units down here for Black Sun. Not sure if he's trying to gear up his attack or what we're trying to see. Citadel's about to finish. We'll see if it is going to be a rush towards an upgrade or anything like that. But Standal can move forward enough and see the lack of a Nexus here. Feel very comfortable.
Yeah, we do have Zealot leg started for Black Sun though. Meanwhile, no tech from the Citadel for Stanel. So I don't know if he's going to go Templar or get his own Zealot legs. He is getting a Forge, so it looks like he suspects GTs from his opponent.
I mean, you gotta expect something at this point. That it's like, well, I started my Nexus. Didn't we both go like gateways and zealots early? Why don't you have a Nexus? What are you doing where you don't have a Nexus? So I understand that logic, getting this detection up before there's anything too bad here. Instead of even retreating the units just in case he has to make some kind of play like that. We do see that Temple Archives for Black Sun on the way. Still no Nexus started. Finally, no, I was going to say maybe there's finally a pro, but it's just making a pylon down at the low ground. He doesn't care about no Nexus at all. Finally turning back, going to be able to work their way towards that, but after Stanel did probe damage to that early Zealot attack, put some pressure on, and he's got the way faster Nexus, he's already up 5 workers, and he'll be able to climb much further ahead now.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about Black Sun's build now because he's gone up to 4 gateways with speed legs and archives. It looks like he wants to expand. Like I think he keeps setting this probe and then realizing that he doesn't have enough money. I feel like you could do like 1, there may be 2 of those things, but not all 3 of those things at the same time, right?
Yeah, the only thing I can see, because you look at what he's producing, he's actually just jamming out a lot of Zealots here. I wonder if he's waiting for that +1 weapons, hoping that's going to be the move. He's actually building some Templar as well, working on Storm, so he's moving out here well before he has any of these upgrades. The +1 attack is not going to be here. Stanel's army not super big, but there is still at least a couple cans to help defend, but still, it's a lot of speed Zealots. Here comes the engagement up the front. Black Sun going to be able to move forward, not on the cans. Units getting slowed down. So probes being pulled from Stanel, knows he wants to slow this down as best he can. If he can protect these cans, it's going to be a lot easier to defend. Black Sun losing a lot of units in this engagement. The cans do end up going down, but still losing all these units moving forward. If you see that much, you're not worried about DTs. So much investment in these Zealots. That attack didn't go well, and look at what we're seeing between these players. Black Sun and Stanel, 13 probe lead for Stanel. Defended that pretty well, had no issues at all, so I gotta feel very bad for Black Sun after that kind of attack didn't go well. That Nexus hasn't even been done yet.
Yeah, it's gonna make Stanel feel so comfortable. He's up like 15 probes. They're kind of equal on tech. There's 1 more gateway for Black Sun, but I imagine we're gonna see some more production added here very soon for Stanel. Looks like he's getting a robo.
Yeah. Curious if this is just going to be for observers. I mean, I would actually be worried about it because the way that Black Sun attacked there, he was very focused on those cans first. He was like, no, I gotta kill him. I gotta kill him. So that does scream maybe there's some shenanigans. DT did end up getting made. But you see now Stanley with that extra economy here, adding on a bunch of gateways. So he's going to have a gateway lead, the tech lead. He's going to have everything. Storm is done, and there's energy enough for 1. Here comes another attack. 1 big storm there, going to be able to retreat. A second storm going down. Great storms, but it isn't enough. There's just not enough supporting cast around it with those cans in the back and this Archon doing so much work here. But here comes that first DT. Sandal doesn't notice quite yet. Pulls back to those cans. So no counterattack, no being able to move it out on the map any further. But another attack from Black Sun didn't go well. And look at this worker lead. He's investing so much in this. He's not building probes right now. This is such a bad mistake we're seeing from Black Sun.
I've like struggled with probe production for such a long time, and now I'm like in a situation where like I make too many, or like I don't send them to mine. But like it feels so good to get over that hill, like to realize that you're actually making the right amount of probes.
Yeah, every time I watch a replay now, and I'm like, oh, how's my worker production? It's like, oh, 55, man. Oh, that feels good. We did it.
Whoa, Stanel misclick killed one of his own goons, just like a ritual sacrifice, hoping to gain favor in this game. And meanwhile, the Dark Templar snipes the probe. So it's going to take the third base of Stanel. So like a nice small victory there for Black Sun, who's getting his own third base up. So that might be one way for him to come back in this game, reclaim the economy here.
Yeah, I'm still a little worried though. Blackstone trying to take this third Nexus, but still, like his pro production's fallen so far off. Even if that third base gets started, it's going to be in such a rough spot here. He's not going to have a lot of workers to transfer over and get that going. Now we do see the army from Stanley moving out. Now finally with an observer, they're going to be able to shut down this DT threat. And he has these gateways, he's going to be able to really kick things off, like really getting a nice solid army up. You see that supply lead is growing further and further. Even if his workers still also enough army to really make this intimidating. The only hope that I think we have for Blackstone, he's trying to get his third base up, and he does have Templars back at home. Those storms could be the key to a big defense. Stanley's going to test it. He's moving across the map to see what he can do.
There we go. A few zealots here to spot on this high ground, but not enough to stop Stanley from claiming it. Now this defending army here from Blackstone is not that big. He's going to have to rely on some clutch storms here if he wants to survive.
Yeah, now that third base didn't get spotted out. First storm does hit a lot. Hits the observer. That's a big loss there. Has to that detection being killed off. Now we know there's not DTs, but Stanley does not. He's going to pull back. He doesn't even want to risk that life right now. So that was a great storm, trading off, buying time to develop his army a little bit more, but still has to catch up on that worker count. Still pretty significantly down. That Nexus did get finished off. Has a little bit of defense there as well. I think a lot of it is just hoping nothing's going to happen. DT moving around, trying to see if there's a third base going down for Stanley. Doesn't find anything, so it's really the only advantage you got, but Stanley's going in for round 2. Now he's got another observer.
Yeah, Blackstone is just now finishing goon range. He's been so focused on these speed zealots. He's finally having to come back and finish all the basics of this matchup. And he's got like more goons than zealots now, so it's really good for him that this range finished before this big fight that's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we're 13 minutes into a PvP. It's like he's just finished in Dragoon range. Good thing it was there at time. A little unusual to even think of it that way, but
yeah.
Hey, the fight, there wasn't fights lost because it wasn't there. So end of the day, what's really the difference, right?
Exactly.
See Stanley's posturing on the high ground, he's building up a decent amount of force here. He's got some Templar, a lot of speed zealots, still has a couple of those Archons as well. And that third base is going down for Stanley. Not at a gas base, just at a mineral only, so a little bit lower value. Here comes that attack, and look at the army difference. Great
big
storm, but yeah, these storms are
storms.
as huge as you're ever gonna get. But still, like, is this enough? Not really.
But, like, half the army wasn't fighting it from Blackstone, so we got some big storms, but not the core units to follow it up. And now he's gonna get outnumbered on this flank, and his third base is gonna get wiped out. I think there's 2 cannons here. That's not enough to stop all these red units.
Yeah, and Stanley wisely not trying to attack both at once. He's going to pull back. He's going to make sure he can get off that third base, no problem, without losing a whole bunch of free units. We're seeing some Templars and things trying to move up there, trying to defend it. A little contingency of Stanley's units is going to be able to slow things down. The pros being just migrated somewhere, trying to save them, trying to delay the attack from Stanley further. We see some zealots chasing.
Wow, this is pretty awesome. I don't think I've seen probes like run away this far, like into a random corner of the map.
Yeah, still, it's going to shut down that third base. Nexus finally going down. Still a decent amount of army left over from Stanley, ignoring all the zealots that are chasing these probes as well. And back at home, both players, the macro falling off a little bit as they're going through these fights here, but still, Stanley got what they came for. They killed that third base. Feeling pretty good and still in a good spot. Look at that supply difference. Just Stanley doing a great job here. A wave of speed zealots is going to reinforce this army and keep the pressure on as these probes just constantly run back. Like, what is happening?
Wow, like 3 of them made it out of what, like 8? You know, some survived. Oh, there's even 3 more back in the base. What a journey. It's like a Disney movie or something.
Still a little bit silly here, but Stanley's done messing around. If you want to run, I got speed zealots. They'll chase you all day. I don't mind. And here's a shuttle. It's got a couple high Templar in it. Barely gets spotted by Blackstone. We'll see if he was really paying attention or just moving his army down. He does see it. Now he's trying to go down here. There's a cannon in the back, but there's still that great little pocket you can throw down some high Templar. They're moving down. Oh, gigantic storms in this probe line. Oh, no. That probe lead, it just went from big to ridiculous. Stanley gets a massive storm drop on Blackstone. He killed the third base. He says you won't get the mine for your second one either. This guy's a monster.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, buddy, let me smooth out your probe to mineral ratio real quick. Brutal.
That is
getting
just
his own
brutal.
fourth base in a right too. So Stanel is looking to be in a very commanding position here.
Yeah, and I like that he's still being aggressive on the map. He's not like sitting back. Even if it is just a bunch of speed zealots, his opponent doesn't have reavers. You can get dodge storms pretty well enough. They're moving around. Good storm here, but it's not quite enough. There's just so many zealots here. Black's gonna have to pull back and be in a good make sure he doesn't lose any more of these units. But Stanel has plenty of units here ready to fight. No big deal. And even has +1 weapon upgrades. And his opponent does have slightly better, has the armor as well, so at least that's going to help out. But still, when it's just this many zealots, like a little bit of armor isn't going to be the big difference. It's going to need a lot of key storms. And you can see that's how we're moving forward, trying for another. Still, like Blackson's getting some really good storms and helping these fights a lot more than you would expect. But Sale just has too much stuff, too much money at this point.
Someone's been getting these like 6 storms all game. If you just had like a bit more production to back it up, I think you'd be way ahead in this game right now.
Well, that comes back from just that lack of a probe count, and then the harassment going down, the third base being lost. Black Sun, well, it's not like they're floating a bunch of money and you can't produce. They're just having troubles because of how much pressure's been put on. Saddle slowly working forward towards that natural base. As Black Sun is starting to reinforce a little bit more significantly, so he's pulling back to that high ground, trying to use that to help out here. And this is getting some pretty good fights here, actually, for Stanel, while both players try to reinforce. A little bit broken up for Black Sun as the attack continues. Stanel finally looking like they're going to get a little bit of the worst of it, but finally they're going to bring in their own storms for these fights. Not sure how this is going to go. Black Sun finally looking like they're winning a pretty decent fight. I'm surprised that Stanel kept pushing so far and finally lost. Maybe those storms did build up over time to really help out.
Yeah, I've definitely been in the situation where like I kill a base, I kill a bunch of probes, and I'm like, all right, I'm invincible now that I lose like a really dumb fight like that. I don't know if, well, I mean, okay, I guess if the reinforcements from Stanel can come out fast enough, he'll be fine. But this is a lot more units for Black Sun here than we have for Stanel. Here we go, diving into this natural though. I think the cannons are going to make the difference. Yeah, and with pulling the probes, I mean, he can certainly afford to pull some probes. He's up like 45 probes right now.
Yeah, I actually can't believe how many pylons Stanley has. Look at that supply gap he has. Like, it's I think he had a much higher amount and lost it through. Here come a couple Dark Templars. There's no detection for Black Sun, so these DTs alone are going to be enough to repel this force here. And you can see this is going to be enough that Stanley lost a little bit up at the front, but nothing too critical. Didn't lose a base. Trimmed out some of the probes, so just even out the supply for more army. Some more decent storms going down, but at this point, I don't think it's going to be quite as good as what we were seeing before. Just not enough on the map here for Black Sun. As Stanel keeps moving forward, these ETs doing tremendous work.
Gate Boys managing to close out the game for Stanel and the series.
Yeah, Stanel taking a pretty nice 2-0 win. Feeling a little bit bad for Black Sun. I don't think there's a lot of crazy big mistakes other than really the pro production. It's just some of the things just didn't go their way. Build order wise, like your opponent did the same thing as you or got slightly greedier, and then just the pros, all those things just kind of built up over time.
Definitely.
We're going to be going into our third set, and I know that series, you're like 2 games. I wanted a third game. I want more PvP. I got more PvP for you. Don't worry, man. We're going to have a whole new set. We're going to see if these players play the same way, or we're going to see something a little more traditional, but excited to see how this is going to go between the 2 players this time. Moving into our third set of the night, and that is going to be between Naklar in the top right in the pink Protoss. The alliteration throwing me off. And the bottom left, it's Jelly Mag in the green Protoss.
Fun fact, both of these players were my opponents earlier in the season.
How did you do?
That'd be spoilers, though. Do you want me to spoil it?
How you did? It's in the past, man.
True. All right. So Jellybang beat me in week 1, and then I beat Naklar in week 4, I think.
Huh? Okay. Well, maybe you're just a PvP god, and it was the week 1 you weren't warmed up yet. So
exactly.
We'll see what we're expecting from these players. I feel like I've cast Naklar a decent amount of times, but I don't know if I've ever seen the PvP from Naklar. I think it's always been like PvZ and stuff. So
Yeah. I can tell you that there was at least one PvP series with Naklar because I casted it, and then later I looked at it when I was preparing for our match. So he's definitely played PvP at least one time before. I like to stalk my opponents and look at their replays and stuff.
Oh, you're using that CPL caster advantage, or it's
Exactly.
oh, I got the vibe. I'll pick this group.
Yeah. Corrupt people in the league. What can I say?
Hey, no. That's a snipe meme. We are nice, respectful people here. I just keep tabs, and it's like I see like people from my team, and they're like, I think I'm playing this person. I'm like, they got casted in week 2. You should watch that.
Yeah.
I just keep a little bit of that database. Now we are going to see different this time. Look, it's an assimilator.
So Naklar's probe was attacking the scouting probe of Jellymang. I don't know if he just like A-moved across the map or like deliberately tried to do that. I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, definitely a little bit interesting here. Jellymang also going for a gas after the gateway, so none of this 2-gate Zealot shenanigans. Well, Jellymang's significantly slower than the opponent because they're actually going for that first Zealot, so Zealot before core here, and it's slowed down the assembler as well. I think things are a little bit out of order for Jellymang because that shouldn't ever really make a difference. That like you shouldn't have to slow down your gas to be doing that, but I guess really wants to put the pressure on. And another Manor pylon again. These maniacs, they see Eclipse and they're just like, I know exactly what to do on Eclipse.
Yeah. The same location, getting so much value. Personally, I've been doing the Zealot before core lately in this matchup, and like I feel like if I get my gas at the normal time, I end up with like 400 gas that I can't do anything with. So I've been delaying the gas to like 12 or 13 instead of 11. So like I think I can sympathize with a Jellymang. Like by the time this core finishes, he will have enough to make a goon at range, right? So like it didn't really slow him down too much.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable, but every time I see a Zealot before core, like the big thing I think is like if they go proxy gates, I want that Zealot faster. Like I want to have an ability or a set across the map to be aggressive. And it's like I'd rather just have a faster second gateway than that early Zealot. So I don't know, maybe just a style difference. But Jellymang does have one Zealot move in here. It's trying to get a little harassment done, having a little trouble targeting some of these probes. And a good micro from Naklar stacking them up, making things difficult. So just one Zealot from Jellymang moving across didn't really get anything done. Dragoon's out from Naklar, going to be able to repel this without too much problem at all.
Does get one probe kill. That's
at the very end, barely got one.
Yeah. Jellymang is up 2 probes now in this matchup. That can absolutely add up.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but look at what Naklar has. He's getting a much faster Dragoon raise, and he's got a supply lead. When you're down workers, that means you have more army. You can see that between what's made. There's a Goon already finished. He still has a Zealot. He didn't lose that in an attack like this. But I am surprised from both players. We're not seeing more gateways added on just quite yet. As I said that, here it goes. And we're seeing one here in that positioning for the other probe. I think we're actually going to see a third gateway, so Naklar are going to be committing to the ground force, not going to the tech path at all.
Yeah, we see a Robo here from Jellymang. We'll have to see if he follows it up with a second gateway, or maybe he's going to get a 1-gate expand, which can struggle with this 3-gate Goon build.
Yeah, this 3-gate Goons kind of play is exactly why I don't do 1-gate expand. It terrifies me to this day to even think about trying to do it. But we're going to see what the opponent's going to go here for. It's also going to be when they get the robotics, are they going to rush, get the observatory? Is it going to be that super fast reverb, make sure they got the defense, risk the whole maybe they went DTs thing a little bit more? Now, as you see Naklar moving forward here, he's taking his army got a little bit ahead of the Zealot, so Jellymang actually getting the better of this engagement initially. First Dragoon going down for Naklar. The micro pretty good from Jellymang here, not losing anything too much. Both players not cutting against the Zealots the best they can.
Let's go down for Naklar.
Yes, so Jellymang managed to get out of this one with a little bit of a Dragoon lead, but still these extra gateways, reinforcements are going to come through, and that high ground advantage as well. So Naklar are looking like they want to keep pushing forward. They're going to keep that production going as well. So love the spot we're in. Jellymang's macro kind of fell off though during that fight, unfortunately.
Yeah, like that Nexus could be started even a Reaver or like a follow-up gateways. So Naklar getting a lot of like indirect damage here with this 3-gate build. by putting on all this pressure and being able to replace his losses that much easier. And he's even getting his Nexus before the 1-gate player. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, that's actually unbelievable. You went 3 gateway, he's pulling with 1 gateway Robo. You can see that he is getting that support base, so it looks like it will end up being that kind of 1-gate spam, but because these fights, everything got slowed down. Both Nexus from both players, but look at Naklar, he's up to 6 goons, he's going to be able to keep reinforcing this. And he has an expansion in case he has to retreat, in case things don't work out that well, but when Naklar moves across and it's 6 goons showing up to kill 3 of them, this is going to be bad, and this Reaver won't be ready in time.
Yeah.
If Naklar goes for it, come on, commit.
Commit, do it. You have 3 gates.
And look, Jellymang, even if he doesn't attack at all, look, he canceled the Nexus. He pulled up the ramp. Wow. He knows exactly. I'm surprised. You at least want to force your opponent to do it, force them to kind of get in the spot. But Jellymang knows how bad the situation was for him. He's adding on a second gateway now. That first Reaver about to finish, but there's no shuttle, so it's not like it's going to be able to be used for counter attack. And now he has to restart this Nexus so much later than what he wanted to before. This is a terrible situation as the Robo finishes for Naklar. That Nexus finishing for Naklar. The only thing Jellymang has is a little bit of a probe lead, but honestly, Naklar's position just looked fantastic. Although, Jellymang's actually still up on supply. How did that happen?
Weird. I don't know. I mean, Jellymang is up 6 probes. He's kind of been like producing probes in anticipation of being able to mine from his natural, and it hasn't quite paid off yet. But it might if Naklar isn't on top of this double Nexus production.
I guess we're going to see. Naklar looking like they're going to move out again. The Nexus did finally finish up. Jellymang has an observer spotting what's going on. He's going to roll up and see. It's still just a couple gateways. A Citadel going down as well, so going to be able to start moving towards Storm Tech, or probably just more Zealot legs for at this point in the game just to get things going. Jellymang has that second Reaver here for that defense, and a shuttle being made, so I think if Jellymang can hold on, keep these Reavers alive, maybe there's an opportunity to do something there once the shuttle comes, but Naklar's not going to give him time. He's going to press forward, but there's 2 Reavers, and Naklar immediately backs off, knowing this is a bad idea.
Yeah, a wise choice that I can't say I would have thought of in the moment. I on the Reavers every time. I lose so many games that way.
That is something I learned to get good at quickly. That it's like, oh, I don't have way more goons and you have Reavers. I'm good. I don't have to do any of this. Like, you just walk on out. No big deal. Now, we've seen Naklar add on a lot of gateways. Going to be up to 6 now, and adding on that Templar Archive. So that's going to be a choice. Foregoing Reavers, they're going to be just going instead straight for Storm, doing that instead. Jellymang, though, has that decent army, has that shuttle with the Reavers made, and working towards speed. So that might be the opportunity to get some economic damage done, catch back up here. But still, look at that supply lead. Jellymang was so far ahead. His Nexus finished. Now they're tied, despite how much faster Naklar's was.
Yeah, Naklar's really managed to have his cake and eat it too this game. It sort of had everything go right for him. But this is going to be like a peak in the strength of Jellymang here, getting these 2 Reavers and shuttle. If his micro is really good here, he could absolutely open this game back up for him.
Yeah, this positioning is really bad for Naklar. He had everything back by the middle line, expecting to harass, so he wasn't in front of these pylons. Look at the concave Jellymang's going to have now as he harasses down these pylons. You can see his opponent's got to try to go into him, into these Dragoons, but remember, 6 gateways of production. It's just a couple of Reavers. Naklar will have an opportunity if he wants to take a fight. I think the Defender Advantage will eventually get him the units he's looking for, but has to be careful here. Templar on the field, but I don't know if Storm's actually... was Storm researched? I remember the Templar Archives. I don't know if I saw Storm.
I did not notice but I'm not sure it even matters though. These Reavers are just wreaking chaos here, but no shuttle here to help pick him up. The shuttle is just lying idle in the back. He does lose 1 Reaver. There's even a shuttle for Naklar. I'm not sure what Naklar is planning on here, but Jellymang has eventually won this fight in the natural, and now I think he's going to be the one forcing his opponent to stay on 1 base.
I think all this stems from when Naklar had everything down behind his pylons by the middle line. It's like, oh, I'm gonna snipe this shuttle. I'm gonna be so smart. I'm big brain, and that his army was just so out of position. Jellymang managed to get into a spot where you're never gonna be able to funnel through that little pylon wall to go attack the Reavers. You need to be in front of that wall so you can fight in open space instead. So Jellymag getting a great win here. The probes evacuated. And still plenty of Dragoons alive as well. This Reaver is still doing good damage. These Zealots do have their legs. They're moving forward. And Storm is now being researched about halfway done. But this fight's still going great for Jellymag. He's not macroing back at home with the constant complaint I keep throwing at him that he needs to work on that a little bit, but still doing a great job building a big advantage here.
Jellymag trying to spend some of that money getting a third base, and definitely if he can get his third base is up and keep his opponent contained on one base, there's no way that you can lose that fight, right?
Yeah, gateway's being made for Jellymag here, so we're gonna add on more production to match that third base. One gateway, one hex to the right. This guy's trying to tilt me right now. Like, why would you do that? Come on, you had this perfect little line. You were so good. Now Naklar has the speed Zealots moving down here. Still a lot of Dragoons here, and this Reaver's still around. The Zealots managed to get on the Reaver, but Jellymag paying attention, picks it up. Really gonna save that up. These Zealots getting killed off very convincingly. The Jellymag's still in a great spot here, still paying attention to not lose these units for free. One Reaver shot goes off, and I think it hit his own Dragoon. Like, that's a little unfortunate, but you know what? Things happen. Naklar's trying to build up a decent little fighting force. Storm is done, but I don't see any Templar to go with it. And he's just trying to see what he can establish here as Jellymag gets that third base rolling. That probe lead getting very substantial now after killing that second base, too.
Looking pretty dire for Naklar. I had this game on ladder a few days ago. I was against like a Korean Protoss, and I had him contained like this, and he just kept making speed shuttles full of Reavers and killing like all my probes. God, it was so frustrating. So I got like the only way you can really come back from this, because like just trying to make units and charge down the ramp, like it's just gonna be so inefficient.
Well, I waited 5 seconds before I said it, and then me saying I waited, I'll keep waiting. There's a shuttle with a probe in it.
Here we go. All right. That's all you need, right? A probe and a dream. Try to expand over here.
Okay. Now, we're going to see if this goes through. There's Dragoon kind of patrolling around the map trying to find shenanigans. So, if it gets caught, it's a problem. Naklar actually losing some pylons down by the natural. So, he's actually supply blocked at the moment. Not going to be able to produce things any further. Jellymag still building Reavers back at home, still getting that extra production. And now the Temple Archive's on the way, and I actually love this from Jellymag. He's just building a lot of cans, knowing he's in a pretty good spot. Just needs to not lose to something silly. So he's adding cans at all his bases by the mineral lines. So there's no option for some crazy harass the game back to the game. And here comes that shuttle off the side. It spots the sneak third base. Oh no, Naklar's exposed.
There we go. That might be his last chance to get back in this game. I do like how Jellymag has goons at like every base. Like he's aware of how to lose this game.
Naklar moved forward with a vastly underwhelming army compared to the opponent, and the guy leading charge, the one high Templar with storm energy, that got sniped immediately by Dragoons. So that one chance, maybe one big storm would be enough. It's not going to be enough. The Reaver gets dropped, it's going to harass that base up the top, gets canceled, so Naklar back down to 1. Jellymag still doing a good job macroing, the supply lead getting ever bigger. The army outside the natural is better, even without those 2 Reavers also plugging away, and more reinforcements going down as well. Jellymag also taking the 4th base, so really knowing how to extend the lead they have here. They're still working up the tech tree, doing a good job producing what they can, taking more bases, while Naklar is just like, can I have this one? How about this Nexus?
Yeah, can I please just have one more base? There you go. Looks like Jellymag is not willing to let him do that without a fight. Bringing these goons and Reavers back, and I don't think Naklar has enough to hold it. Well, never mind. Looks like the Reavers are going on a vacation here, not able to path through this choke.
I mean, it's Protoss units and pathing, man. Have you ever seen anything more iconically into? Still, Jellymag just has so much stuff, it doesn't matter. Templars are being made, hopefully Storms be enough, but as they get made, there's still no energy. They gotta wait quite a while. And you can see the Nexus is not getting canceled. Naklar is like hoping for dear life there's some change for Jellymag. But now Reaver's gonna focus on it. It's not gonna be enough. Shuttles here, there's a couple high Templar, and Naklar finally tapping out as Jellymag was about to move into the main.
I mean, Naklar has 0 probes, so He decided.
Do you get that that like just that terrible feeling every time you watch the pros for us? Like early on, remember Knackler had that attack. It looked great. It looked like he was in a great spot, and then all of a sudden counterattack loose. Like what? How does it happen?
I mean, it's like no matter what shenanigans you try to pull in this matchup, like the specter of a shuttle with 2 Reavers and some goons will always haunt you. Like there's a reason that like every pro PvP goes to Goon Reaver versus Goon Reaver. It's so strong.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on game 2, Polypoid. Maybe we finally get into a game 3. We've been having a lot of 2-0s so far tonight. In the bottom right, it's Jellymag, still in that green. And in the top left, still in that magenta, it's Knacklar.
There you go. So last game, you mentioned that one gateway that was slightly off. And I can totally get that. But like, what if you were in game and you like misclicked and put a gateway off? Would you cancel that gateway to put it back in the right spot?
I have, yes.
yeah, I've done that. Like, I won't do that for like my first gateway, but like late in the game, you had like gateways like 4 through 8. I will absolutely cancel one to put it back in the right place.
Well, I've had enough games where I'm just like, it's a little off, which especially if I build like, let's say like a square of gateways, and it's like the bottom's like a little kick to the side, like a little rhombus. I'm like, oh, that's not gonna matter. Oh, it's gonna matter. I'm gonna like have 2 Dragoons trapped in there. I'm gonna be like, God damn it.
Yeah, like somehow like units get sucked into it, like a vortex or something. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, so like when I get later in the game, I purposely build my stuff very slowly to avoid that. But if it did happen, I would cancel it. There's no question in my mind.
All right, a man of principle.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that principle? Is that like I just I want to like what was the old meme about like cleaning up things? I want to spark joy in my base layout. Like
yeah, this gateway does not spark joy. Cancel it. Very nice. So both players going for a normal 1-gate tech build. Looks like Jellymang scouted after Pylon, and Knacklar scouted after Gateway. Both completely normal and I think reasonable in this matchup.
Yeah, I don't think there's a real particular difference unless you're looking for something like really important here. Which I mean, when you're just doing the round the bases baseball style scout, I don't think there's anything you're looking for that's really important. We are going to see Jellymag going to be the first one into the base and see that is cross spawn, so that's at least a little bit of information if you wanted to decide now between like a 1-gate robo, a 2-gate robo. You have a little bit of that knowledge to make the decision early before you cross a point where you no longer get that choice. Now, Knacklar's core is actually significantly ahead of the opponent. It's not like there's a Zealot first, so I'm a little bit surprised how that happened. Yeah, how did that happen?
Maybe Jellymang was focused on that scout. Maybe that is the effect of that slightly earlier scout. Yeah, that's how it maths out.
Man, that would be a significant difference if that was the case. But
yeah,
we're seeing one Zealot for Knacklar going to chase this probe around, trying to get some harassment done, or trying to get some scouting done, I should say. And then we see Knacklar. He's just unimpeded. He's going to be able to walk around. That Dragoon finally in production, so. We'll see, and like, look at this. Like, Knacklar has a Zealot that his opponent does to have. The Goons are on the way. Jellymang still has like his up 1 pro, but look at all that extra money Knacklar has that he hasn't spent yet. Jellymang did just start the Dragoon range, so that's really the big difference here. That I was gonna say, oh, he's not going range. He's gonna get an extra gateway. He's gonna get a fast expansion. He's being a wild man. It's like the moment I started the sentence, Dragoon's range started.
How does it happen every time, dude? There's something going on there.
I just gotta stop noticing stuff. I should just like focus on like, man, look at these probes. Look at mine.
Yeah.
This guy like we just change CPL cast into like reaction videos. We can make that YouTube clip of like my face like, oh my god.
Yeah.
We can just ruin this
PvP meta and like it's your face like, oh yeah.
Yeah, just like one scarab hitting like something, but I blur it out so you can't tell it's only hitting a pylon. Like
world's juiciest scarab.
Maximum damage. Oh man.
Whoa. Okay, so Knacklar busting out kind of a unique build, like the 2 gateway into Nexus build. I wonder if this was because of what he saw in Jellymang's base. Like he saw the 1 gate with no Zealot and getting the range. Maybe he figured out that Jellymang is not planning to be that aggressive and like read his mind a bit here, and I think like this will completely work out here, because it looks like Jelly Mang is gearing up for a 1-game robo again, which will absolutely not be able to threaten this slightly earlier expand from Neckler.
Yeah, if this is just the meta call from Naklar of what you saw, so it's like 1 gateway for a while, you're not like rushing into anything. I bet you're going to go 1-game robo, and he makes that call. He gets the faster Nexus. He's still going to have a robo too, so it's not like he's not going to be able to get Reavers of his own, but he has an extra gateway production. His Nexus is significantly faster. Jelly Make's still doing a better job with the pro production, but Naklar's build choice here, I love the decision to like not play the meta, play the meta of this best of 3 against the opponent.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is one of the reasons that I like PvP. Like, you know, like you have to make these kinds of reads off of limited information, and you look like such a badass when you do it right. Of course, like it really hurts when you get it wrong. Well, let's just I'll focus on the positive here.
Well, no, when it's wrong, the matchup's silly and stupid. But Jellyman moving forward here with 3 goons, going to Naklar's Zealot and 4 goons, so this attack's not going to work out so much, but does confirm the Nexus being completed. I think they moved far enough forward to see that. So I think Jellymang's just kind of wondering what happened here.
Yeah, like this isn't a thing you can do.
I think it's all right. 3rd gateway being added on from Naklar. He's got the robo done and is working straight for his support base. So is going to be rushing into those Reavers for defense. Actually, even before getting an observatory. So while Jellymang does have that fast observer, Naklar decided to cut as many corners as possible. This build that's abusing the opener from their opponent and now skipping detection, knowing his opponent is not going for DTs. I love what we're seeing from Naklar in this game too.
Yeah, he's so confident that he knows what Jellymang's doing, and he's absolutely correct. It's really going to pay off, I think, if he can take advantage of it.
Yeah, now just got to make sure we're getting decent macro from both players as they move into the mid game, because Reavers do a good job of being very good defensive units, but Jellymang still accumulating a decent Dragoon count, and you can see Naklar, while having that extra gateway, it doesn't really even matter. Jellymang's been doing such a good job just producing. And look, a pro move down towards the 6 o'clock. Jellymang says I can play that game too, looking like they're going to set up for a pretty fast 3rd base.
Maybe. Here we go, playing this pylon here. Well, it's at least going to spot drops. So maybe we should have waited 5 more seconds, because he's not waiting around to make another Nexus.
Yeah, there's always an opportunity that we actually see this pile moving across, the pro moving across. So maybe try to get a little scouting info, see if the opponent took a 3rd base, or see if there's an army movement on the way. There is that observer up at the front for Jellymang, so sees exactly the army his opponent has. And if I see goons and I see a Reaver, but the Reaver doesn't have a shuttle, I feel pretty comfortable trying to expand and be a little greedier.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this pile of pace we're seeing from Jellymang. He's really good. Getting good vision, going to be able to scout drops off without any problem at all. As Jellymang's also going for that shuttle speed again, seems to love that style to get this tech choice. It wasn't super useful in the last game because he already had such a big advantage, but in a situation like this, I like the decision.
Yeah, and in the meantime, it looks like Naklar has made a shuttle of his own, and he's choosing to move out and be aggressive here. I don't know how much potential there is to deal damage here to Jellymang, but Jellymang has 2 Reavers and a very healthy goon count. Although Jellymang is choosing to leave the safety of his natural, try to like claim this high ground, and that could introduce a lot of like volatility to this this fight when it comes up.
Yeah, it's going to be 1 Reaver versus 2, but the Dragoon count for both players is 10 apiece. Very even here. Naklar also has that 1 extra cell, but that doesn't matter. He's going to find these Dragoons off to the side. Now, he doesn't have the full vision knowing that the Reavers aren't there too, so you can see not engaging that any further than he needs to. And the Observer getting pulled back and to keep track of where the army is. But Naklar, he got what he wanted here. This is space to get a 3rd base up and going. And Naklar has actually done a great job pro production. Finally got a little bit of the worker lead themselves. Doing a good job spending their money and getting these upgrades. Cell legs now on the way for Naklar and going to be able to move towards Templar attack whenever they're ready. They got the Templar Archives. I just don't wait for the Storm to get started.
Honestly, it looks like we're gearing up for a longer PvP here. Both players not really able to kill each other. And right as I say that, they do meet in the middle of the map, taking a few pot shots. Looks like Jellymang absolutely does not want to take this fight right now, trying to get out of there desperately. Manages to avoid losing any units or taking any big scarabs. So nice play there. And now he has hit his own shuttle with 2 Reavers, and that speed is done.
Yeah.
See, that could turn this fight around.
Yeah, well, Naklar, I don't think really looking for a spot. They keep moving the army around here. I think more just to intercept if Jellymang moves out. Because, I mean, remember, he took that 3rd base. It's not like that middle only is an easy base to defend. Big wide ramps and easy access from, like, 2 sides. So, we're going to see here, though, Jellymang taking that speed shuttle with 2 Reavers, going for that harassment mission. No cannons or anything in the main. No Dragoons positioned in a way to defend it either. What are the reactions from Naklar? Are these Reavers going to do big damage? They're getting pulled off. It seems like probably in time, so there's not going to be any giant hits here. But still, it's 2 Reavers. They can start getting some damage. A couple probes getting pulled. But Naklar's reaction is pretty reasonable to save what they can. And the Reavers looking like they're just getting well, I'll say, like, they're going to get loaded up. But he's going to leave one of them there, but decides to come back, save the buddy. He's not. It's just a pilot playing a prank here. But,
leave the Reaver behind.
Yeah, but all of Naklar's army gets pulled back too.
Nice positioning. Can we get a good scare? Manages to get the 1 probe by itself, not the clump. But the important thing is you keep those Reavers alive and keep the threat active. It looks like Naklar is thinking about taking the 12 o'clock base, but he's discovered this rude pylon from Jellymang. He's gonna have a few zealots cleared out, but I will let Jellymang know what's up. It could trigger Jellymang taking his own 4th in response.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting development. Naklar still feeling comfortable to move out here, but this shuttle isn't done being aggressive. A couple zealots going to try to stop it, and we're seeing oh man, the Reavers get dropped in time to save the pylon. Oh no, the Rhynadon.
Oh no! Wait, so hold on. I should know this, but which team?
I killed the Rhynadon.
No.
Oh, I don't know. Hold on, I can look it up.
Seems like if he's, he
is on Rhynadon's revenge.
Oh no, he's a traitor. Someone tell Neblime.
Okay, we can yell at him later. But if he can kill all these probes, I think the one Rhynadon will feel pretty good about. Naklar not getting to pull this time. Finally, some good harassment going down with these speed shuttles, managing to find a good opportunity here. Naklar still trying to just move the army around, get as much done as they can, but not managing to catch the speed shuttle. That speed upgrade paying for its weight in gold. Jellymang keeps finding little angles to get some stuff done while they build up their own army back at home. Oh my god, this shuttle won't stop harassing. I love it.
This is so annoying.
Alright, Naklar gonna pull for this one. He sees it this time.
Oh, this guy gets stuck on the gateways.
Yeah, that one's not gonna get anything done. But like all this little harassment, if nothing else, like if he doesn't lose the shuttle, he's not losing the Reavers. You can just see, oh man, even dropping down to kill the Dragoons that are getting made here. Yeah. It's 2 Reavers. This is pretty substantial. You can't just try to harass them a little bit. I think Naklar is tired of dealing with this crap, looking like they're actually going in for an attack here. But look how much Jellymang has back at home to defend this.
Jellymang's ready to defend this. Naklar is, ran out of patience, but Jellymang is absolutely set up on this high ground. A nice storm on these goons, but the Reavers are staying safe in the background, and Zealots are getting on the goons here. It looks like Naklar will have to back up if he wants to save any of these units.
Yeah, that fight did not go well at all. Now, at least Naklar are trying to take that 4th base up at the 12 o'clock, but still, look at that.
Oh no, the shuttle! Oh wow, the shuttle almost flew right over the scoots, but Jellymang caught it the last second. That would have been a sad end.
Yeah, that shuttle's pretty bruised up too. Like that's a little bit rough here. And look at the money Jellymang has here. He got that pretty good fighting win. Naklar trying to take another base, but both players still have about the same worker count. But with that supply lead, that means Naklar's army is a pittance of what his opponent is. It's really bad. You can see, look at that move out towards 12 o'clock. Jellymang's going to shut that base down before it gets started.
Yeah, Jellymang has been on top of this 4th, for 10 minutes ago when he put that pylon down. He absolutely does not want to let Naklar get away with taking an easy base here.
Well, look at the attack. There's a big army attacking the 12. There's also a speed shuttle in the main. A couple of Dragoons finally get left behind to help defend that. But now we're playing with multiple speed shuttles. Going to be able to help defend this. There's not a lot of army here. There's a couple High Templar. Good storm here, but not on the shuttle, not on the Reavers. As they harass everything down, they're going to be able to stop that 12 o'clock base, kill off all the buildings here, and a couple units to boot. Jelly may find another nice little win here as Naklar had forced a retreat. And look at the army. Like, you go to the natural where everything's getting routed, there isn't any significant army here at all. Naklar is sending a probe down to the bottom left. I think they're going to try to sneak a base, thinking maybe this is the only chance. But when you're in that part of a situation, that's not what you're looking for. More Reavers harassing the third from Naklar as well.
Yeah, these Reavers are relentless from Jellymang, even escaping from a storm drop there. Like, each one, like, we haven't seen like a mineral line get completely wiped out, but it's just been constant, like probes here, probes there, like even killing goons, like we just.
Well, hold on. You say that, but what about this natural finally going there? There's a cannon. This is no longer. Oh God!
Oh, God. Huge hits there. It's at like 12 probes or something.
The Reaver dies for a great cause in that one. Just not pulled fast enough to dodge and make that scare mess up this time. Giant hits. Jellymang is still doing such a good job. Trying to move out with a little bit of army, see if one thing get done. But remember, Jellymang still has that army that took out the 12 o'clock. He's still being aggressive here.
I know it hit it. If I can share a pro tip that I got from Crane, one of the coaches
absolutely
on our team, if you when you drop Reavers behind the mineral line, if you walk the Reaver so that it's like touching the minerals, the scare will actually spawn on the other side of the minerals. So like you won't have to like do like the stupid like slide around and get stuck. It's so brutal if you can pull it off.
That seems reasonable. Now Naklar trying to find a little fight in the middle of the map here. But Jellymang, it says, whatever, I got speed shuttle and Reavers. Back to your third. You can fight all you want. I'm going to kill more of your bases, stop more of your mining. This is ruthless how active he's being with these, especially considering that he's not like fumbling. He's not losing the shuttle or losing the Reavers. Not over committing for that juicy hit. And just slowly building up over time. Jellymang's got that fourth base down at the 6 o'clock. That supply lead keeps growing. He has look at the army he has built up by his natural. That's not even
with this shuttle. Absolutely brutal. At what point, as Naklar, do you just like get a Corsair
or something to stop these shuttles? Like get like a Corsair or a Scout. It's just something that can actually chase these shuttles around.
I think at a certain point you start making scouter pilots with cannons. But we got another fight happening in the middle of the map. Great storm from Naklar. This has been his main way of staying in these games as well. Jellymang has a decent army. He's a lot of it's not in the fight though. But yeah, great storms that we're seeing here, doing as much damage as possible. But Jellymang just has too much stuff. Going to be able to clean this up. These Templars going to get killed off as well, and that supply lead for Jellymang went from great to greater as that speed shuttle immediately the moment the fight's done starts being active again. It's looking for something.
It's like, all right, my APM is free once again. This time Naklar is ready to defend it.
Finally fumbles it off, loses the shuttle and Reavers. Naklar of a small victory, a drop in the bucket. But look at Jellymang starting a fifth base over at 3 o'clock. Still doing a great job trying to macro up a decent army back at home. Plenty of bank available as well, as they're trying to produce as much as they can here. I'd say the one thing I'm surprised about, he has a decent amount of gateways, but it feels like a lot of them just not active right now. Spending a lot of that time microing the fights. Speaking of a fight, back in the middle of the map, we're still trying to exchange back and forth here. Naklar trying to use storms the best they can. Jellymang doesn't have the speed shuttle Reavers here. This is just a core kind of gateway army. A lot of reinforcements being moved up here, and pros being transferred just out of vision, so Naklar doesn't know quite yet. Another fight breaking out though, and I think this one's a lot closer than it looks, but until that wave of zealots comes to reinforce for Jellymang.
8 zealots show up. Alright, there you go. Surrounding these goons. Getting a lot of good damage there. By the way, a Jellymang, just like last game, has this one gateway at the top of his gateway pile that's slightly off.
I'm not looking. I don't want to look. I don't want to see it. Don't you dare. I can see it on the mini map. I don't even need to look.
Keep the stream rated E for everyone. We don't need to see that gore of the gateway layout.
Jellymang trying to move forward here, but his army's pretty split up, so Naklar has an opportunity to take a fight here. Another good storm hitting a lot of these zealots as they go in. Now we're seeing Jellymang try to maneuver around, using that 12 o'clock, the ramp to kind of sandwich the opponent here. But losing a lot of the units, but it's still just down to goons. A storm going down from Jellymang finally to retreat some of the stuff. But another decent defense from Naklar. A lot of these fights, like, remember how big that supply lead was for Jellymang? Like, what happened here? A lot of these fights getting a little bit sloppier, or is just Naklar defending that well?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing is like Jellymang. I mean, each shuttle with 2 Reavers is like 10 supply, right? And they're not helping in the fight. And we see some Templar with Jellymang, but not as many as we see with Naklar. Naklar is getting like storms all over Jellymang's army. So I think if Jellymang can like regroup and get stuff back together, he'll definitely be winning these fights more. But as I'm saying that, he has a drop with a Templar and 2 Zealots, but like there's only 1 base of mining for Naklar. Like I don't think it's a worry about harassing anymore. Like there's not even minerals here at the net. Looks like he's decided, yeah, I don't even need to kill these idle probes. In the meantime, Naklar trying to charge up to these this high ground, but Jellymang finally has some more Templar here, getting storms all over Naklar's stuff. Looks like he'll be able to keep this base alive while his goons just kind of hang out on the high ground, but they don't actually fight.
I mean, I think it's okay not overextending here. Jellymang too comfortable being in a defensive spot. There's good storms from both sides. The Templar walking too far forward does get a storm off before it gets picked off. It doesn't get picked off, it gets saved, turned into an Archon, so that's fantastic. Buying a little bit more time from the opponent here. We're just seeing a little bit of harassment. There's 1 Zealot walking into the natural of Naklar for some reason. I'm not really sure what we're seeing here. Another Nexus. Oh no, Pylon being started at the bottom left. Not Jellymang trying to take another base. Just getting some spotting info, making sure as a shuttle keeps moving around, just trying to find that opportunity. But I really just want to see more macro from Jellymang. I feel like he's being floated at like 2,000 to 3,000. Ah, man, he's been floating at so much money, and then I just saw the speed shuttle fly over the 3rd die to cannon, so didn't manage to get anything done. He found where all the probes are, but just a little bit off trying to make that actually work.
Don't worry, there's another speed shuttle coming. This may just not stop. It's like at this point, it's like it's a problem. Like
I mean, this is not
3 mining bases to 1.
Yeah, like, this is not a problem. This is a solution. Like, don't. Now, Naklar went to the 9 o'clock with the probe, saw a pylon there. He's like, fine, I'll expand somewhere else. He's going to go to the bottom left. He's not going to be thrilled about what he's going to find.
Oh my god, here we go. This drop is in the only mining base of Naklar, but this Templar is unable to drop.
Oh, dear lord.
My god.
No. I gotta see how much drop it. I need to see how much it has.
It was 20 when it pulled up.
Oh my god, absolute brutality.
But like, it's like Naklar still has enough probes to mine completely efficiently from this base. Like,
yeah, but he needs to get. I mean, he needs to get another base. Yeah. If your mining base is that mineral that has less patches, and it's gonna like run out reasonably soon. Now we see Naklar trying to find something. He's going to move towards these bottom bases. That I don't know if he's going to go for the 6 or this newly starred mineral only. Jellymang has no mercy. Naklar trying to take the 12 o'clock while also attacking the 6. There's a lot of cans here. I think he decides not to suicide a lot of units, trying to force their way into that one. I agree with the decision as Naklar is moving around. He's trying to find some opportunity, but Jellymang really starting to kick that macro into gear and get a decent army going. But I'm waiting for another shuttle, man. We gotta get some more speed shuttles in this mix.
Yeah, what's going on? We haven't seen a storm drop in like 20 seconds. This is, I'm starting to have withdrawals here.
Well, you're seeing some big storms in the middle of the map. Naklar finding
all over Jellymang's army.
Yeah, Naklar's storms have been fantastic throughout this entire series. Really extending fights have no business lasting longer than they are. Jellymang managed to fight out. More storms going down for both these players, but a big fight in the middle. I think even if Jellymang doesn't win this one, which I think he's still in position to win, he doesn't even care at this point. Look at that supply. There's just no money available for Naklar to replenish what it is, while Jellymang gets to make out of a ton of gateways. He's taking another base up at the top right as well. And Jellymang wins that fight pretty convincingly, moving across the map. And Naklar's got to be realizing he's running on fumes here. He doesn't have any army back at home, and here comes that attack. There's no cans to defend this 3rd base. It's the only place to go, and this is just brutal that we're seeing here.
You know, finally, this last mining base of Naklar is destroyed. He does have the 12, but I don't think it's going to be long for this world. I think Jellymang's macro advantage is finally, put him in the position to close this game out here.
Oh, did you see the +3 weapons for Naklar was at 95% too? That's the Pro 4 that got killed. No. Brutal. But Daklar gonna tap out of that one. Jellymang, well-earned victories on what we saw in those games.
Yeah, so Jellymang, he beat me, and he beat Naklar, so, he must just be a god at this matchup, right?
Well, apparently he's a god at, making decent reads about when to expand and using speed shuttles, which I'm pretty sure that's how you can win, like, most of your CPL games. Just use some speed shuttles occasionally. That's all you're going to be really needing here. So, with that is going to conclude what we got for the Tier 1. We do have one set with a little Tier 2 play tonight. We're kind of looking a little more towards the middle of the pack, so before we get into the playoffs, kind of showcasing some more players that don't get quite the screen time we get to see. So we're going to be doing one more of those. If you didn't hear the announcements I was saying before, look in the Discord. We made an announcement for a Save the Date King of the Tier tournament. It's going to be between the regular season and the playoffs on March 6th. That'll be like a Saturday. So just keep your eyes peeled for details, but keep that Saturday open. It's going to be a good time.
I hate to do this to you right after you ran through your spiel, but I need to take like a quick 1 minute water break. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Well, so that means I got more time to plug stuff. What else I got to plug? Keep your eyes out for a couple more CPL casts this week. I know Stromkarl and Least, those comedy duos with talking about unmovable rods and untouchable stuff. If you didn't see that clip, you should check out the channel. It's going to be a good time. They're going to be casting later this week. Date to be determined, but probably like a Friday or Saturday. So that's going to be a good time. I know the group they're going to cast has Age in it. Everyone loves watching that madman, so you definitely want to check that one out. I also believe we're going to have another cast, I think from A Bug, is going to be trying to cast something over the weekend, so we keep eyes out for that. And then we are in the last week of regular season. After this, we're going to be having a break before playoffs really get into gear as we formulate all the brackets and all that kind of stuff. Which means we're going to have the more match of the week next week, so you can check that out. We might be doing another one of those EU editions for Wednesday for the people that aren't from North America to be able to watch live and support the CPL casting, which I love that you guys are here and watch the CPL casting. If you want to support, there's a subscribe button. Go ahead. You can follow the channel. I hope you are already. I think there's a donate link for the Ko-fi account because there's behind the scenes, there's definitely a lot of work going on. People need support, so if you like what we're doing, throw something out. I'm not the best show in the world, but I'm just gonna guilt you just a little bit, pretend I'm like batting my eyes at you. I also believe there's plenty of other StarCraft content going around. I keep getting a lot of notifications from that BSL server, so keep your eyes out for that as all that goes on. And we're in the middle of that team think quick. Best of the best, that whole gigantic round robin with 1 million players, that's still going on constantly. You can follow their Twitch channel and see some great foreign talent play there too. Oh man, I'm running out of shill energy. What am I gonna do? I don't know. I got nothing. You guys in chat, you talk to me. We gotta fill a little time here. Hopefully everyone playing in CPL has been having a good season so far, learning some things from your coaches, getting some wins and losses. Hopefully everyone's having a good time. Other than that, I'm just experiencing that pure weirdness when you're in a room alone, talking to a computer screen. It's like, what do I say? What do I do? I've done this enough. You figure I'd be better at it. I need to follow more community events so I can shill more stuff. It's a great way to fill the time. Maybe talk about the format of CPL.
All right, I'm back.
Just in time to save me. I was like running out of things to shill and talk about, man. You gotta give me that heads up. So I only got so much energy for shilling, but we're gonna transfer that energy to get into our next game and cast instead.
There we go. All right.
All right. So we're going into another set in the top right. The green Terran is Cake Sauce. And in the bottom left, in the orange, it's another pros player. It's Zergling.
Oh, I saw his name and just assumed he was Zerg. But
I think everyone does that. Everyone does it. But you see that it says Sir. That's a respectful person. They would never play Zerg. Of course they play Protoss.
Exactly. Only gentlemen can play Protoss.
Well, we got a little bit of time before the game really ramps up. There's always, the same, pretty similar kind of openings from these players in this matchup. So I just see a question in the chat about how will playoffs work. It's gonna be work very similar to some of the CPL matches. That is going to be a set amount of players per tier, playing best of threes, kind of going through there. However you finish the regular season, you might have a bye in the first round. All the teams are going to make it in. It's going to go into a bracket. So the top 2 teams will have a bye in the first round. And it's also looking like it's going to be slightly less people per week. So that way you get to field your superstars, the really enthusiastic people to represent your team. And that way you get a little more team support behind it. Hopefully more people watching the games and supporting what's going on. We also will be casting a lot more of the playoffs than we were the regular season, trying our best to get all of that. So it's going to be a fun time. It's going to destroy my throat. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see all the good games.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping so, man. Like, playoffs are always super fun because, like, people take the regular season seriously, but you don't want to be that guy that loses when your team loses by 1 in a playoff match.
Oh man, that feels so bad. Let me tell you. Oof, big oof.
So nothing unusual. Like I said, it's like, we could just cast this blind. We just start the replay in 3 minutes. Like nothing's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
It's a gateway. It's a simulator. It's gonna be a cyber core, and we got a barracks here. Now the question would be, is it going to be a Gaslix expand, or are we going to see something with a factory instead? I think there's a lot of options for Terran on this map. You could do any kind of like FD, strong FD, really put the pressure on. If you want to do Gaslix expand, just kind of get your economy rolling. I think that's completely fine too. There's enough distance on the map.
I'm about to see the command center go down. There's no gas started yet. Are we see this command center start even before Marine? Yeah, I mean this SCV is going to get in the Protoss space, see that everything is normal, and immediately slap down that command center. So if this goes uncontested, Cake Sauce is going to have a nice advantage.
So how does this happen? In CPL matches, right? I'm like, I look at Eclipse, I'm like, there's so many spots. You can proxy everywhere. It's awesome. And then no one proxies it. No one like defends against it. They're like look how Grease was. It was CC before Marine. So it's like, if you did proxy 9-9, you won. Congratulations. You picked the right build. But I try it one time on the ladder, and it's like...
Well, see, that's the point. Everyone on ladder cheeses, right? And people, when they get to CPL, they finally want to play like a quote-unquote real game and like show off their macro skills that they don't want to cheese.
Are you saying cheese is not real StarCraft?
No. I'm saying that this is what they think. I think cheese is just as valid as any other build.
All right, so I try to learn a lot about walling and buildings and all that stuff. I'm not super good. Is there a problem with that gateway being right above the assimilator? Is that going to lock units in a bad spot, or is that okay? Like, I've never seen anyone build like that.
I was thinking about it. I really don't like it. I feel like goons are going to take this really weird path. Like, I really hope that they don't end up going down through the mineral line.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, like, I'm learning something awesome instead of we're going to see something tragic, but...
Yeah. Like, I almost wish that, like, the first gateway and the cyber core were swapped. That would look way more standard, I think.
I mean, we'll see what's going on here. Now that expansion from Cake Sauce it's up and running, no problem. Bunker at the front as well. And we're starting to work towards those factories, so curious to see if it's going to be like, if someone got 2-base push with a lot of factories early, if we're going to get those armory and kind of move forward. I feel like I don't see a lot of like +1 pushes, where you just get one armory, get +1, and just gear up for something like that. I usually feel like it's either 5-fac, no upgrades, just go for it because the units are so good, or it always ends up being like armories leading into at least a 2-1, really building for a slow build. I don't really see that middling stuff anymore that I used to feel like I used to see a lot.
Yeah, there is a 6-fac, a +1 push, but we don't really see that. And like there was like a 9-fac, like a mostly vulture +1 push at one point, but it seems like that's fallen out of favor.
Oh, I like what we're seeing here for Surly. He's attacking the depot, which, because it's not done being built, you can't repair it yet.
Very nice. It looks like those SCVs...
Oh, no, they kill it! Oh no,
Very
that's so
nice.
bad.
Gonna throw a wrench in the Terran build.
just a little bit. I don't think it's gonna like let him run in the base and kill him, but definitely really annoying. Oh, and this bunker's getting pretty low. Okay, he does get. Okay, he gets all the boys. He absolutely does not want to lose this game. The game this way. Kick Sauce, I think, has been traumatized by losing the previous games. Pulled way too many workers, but it's all sorted out now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've definitely done this enough here, and he's got the magic number, but I like that what we saw certainly do. He stopped a little bit, let it get the full, forces opponents to make sure they're paying attention so they can actually repair it in time. So just kind of keep melting those resources away. We're seeing the first upgrade going to be siege mode, so when these tanks get out and they got that siege mode, it's going to be okay. As long as you don't get too overbold now, that first tank, if it comes down here, those goons could dive in, try to get some big damage done. As he's still repairing that bunker. That tank's moving really dangerously far forward. Oh man, certainly. If you're paying attention, that tank's a free kill right now. This is unbelievable.
Oh, one goon doesn't manage to shoot. Oh, he just runs right past the bunker. Oh, he
worth
gets
it. Worth it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, now he's past the bunker. Oh man, he's gonna be able to start raining some havoc here. But losing that first tank so big for the Terran here, circling. Abused a window of weakness that Cake Sauce left open for an extended period of time. So I'm glad to see that. And we see more goons being rallied to the forward. He's going to have to repair his bunker. We got goons harassing. Now finally siege mode's done, so I think this is going to be enough for these goons to finally get killed off. But they're moving up here, trying to get in range where you can't get siege shot anymore. But that's not quite going to work here. But still, I think that was a good opportunity. Still slowing things down back at home. And look at what Circling's making. He's got a robo, shuttle's done, and look at that support bay on the way. We're going Reaver play too. Circling's playing a super fun style of Protoss.
Yeah, all right. He's trying to abuse his opponent for being so greedy, you know, delaying these factories for so long. Like one siege tank is not going to be able to stop a Reaver drop, right?
Well, no, because one siege tank, you drop the Reaver on the tank.
Exactly. So, you know, this is what you do to come back when your Terran opponent is really greedy. You pound the bunker a lot, you kill the first tank, you get drops, and it's going to be, I think, just a little bit too much ground for Cake Sauce to cover. It does look like he's scanned a Protoss, so he might know that this is coming, but then, even then, he's going to have to, yeah, he's positioned these tanks in his main to try to, like, catch the drop, but, like, he's going to have to start to get, like, an eBay, he's going to have to get turrets. So this is looking great for Circling, and he's even getting this third at a pretty quick time.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable.
Completely safe.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable here. I love how many players they move towards that fourth, because that space is just a little lower than you think it's going to be every time you kind of click into it. So,
yeah.
We do see Circling picks up the Reaver, picks up a Dragoon to bring along for the ride. He's going to move across the map. We're going to see if it is going to be that harassment. Now, if you look up at the top, there's the one tank right at the edge. That's the one you'd be looking for if you're going to be trying for something. But there are some Goliaths made. They're going to be able to repel this shuttle without too much issue. So I think Circling's got to be very careful about how they tread here. You don't want to be losing all this stuff free with the shuttle. That's going to set you back a pretty significant amount. Now, fortunately, there isn't enough made from Cake Sauce to really threaten a counterattack, but he's looking for an opportunity. He's going towards the natural. The Goliath, their siege tank's already here. He's going to have to drop what he can here. Second, that Goon eating some shots. Reaver trying to fight it to the death. It is going to be able to do that, so fantastic job so far. Kills the Goliath, too.
Wow. Just, what a man mode Reaver. Like, it doesn't even hide in the shuttle. It just kills all these units. Pick it up. Okay, there you go. Manages to get out of there. Just kill, I think, 2 SCVs, kills a tank, a Goliath, and forces all these SCVs to be pulled. Absolutely good value there for Circling. And he still has a Reaver, so, you know, he can still be annoying with it.
Yep, Pro's back at home, starting to add more gateways and get a Citadel, so maybe moving up towards that normal tech, you're going to work towards those Arbiters you tend to see on this map so frequently. We're seeing a move forward here, going into the bunker, trying to dive with this tank again. A Reaver shot goes off, it's going to kill it off at the expense of a couple goons, but now that Goliath being in bunker range, enough to shut down the shuttle, loses the Reaver along with it. So I liked it when the tank died, didn't like it when he traded a Reaver and a shuttle to get it. So good little defense from Cake Sauce when Circling overstepped just a little bit. We're seeing more factories get added on as well.
Yeah, and now that I look at the probe count.
No, it's not good. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, that is going to be a big problem here. He's going to spend a lot of time just trying to saturate his bases, and in the meantime, Terran is now completely safe. They're going up to 4 factories. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like 1 or 2 more. We have a science facility already on the way, so it looks like we're gearing up for a really big, it looks like a 2-base, 2-1 push, and that's really hard to hold off for Protoss. Like, they need to be hitting firing on all cylinders, and missing all these probes is going to make it that much harder. And like, Sterling might not even be aware that this push is coming. Oh yeah, look at this. We're going up to 7 factories now. Cake Sauce is, he's had enough of this Reaver nonsense. He's ready to go smash the Protoss.
Yeah, and this is why, while it's super fun to watch things like Reavers and drops or this kind of really aggressive play, this is why I like being a lot more relaxed in these kind of matchups, taking more bases. Because at a certain point, if you're playing, your opponent's just going out with a big push with a bunch of upgrades, you need a lot of stuff. And if you don't take these extra bases, if you're kind of slowing down the probe count, which certainly is catching up on pretty quickly, so that's good, but still, there's no 4th base or 5th base. He's not really making a ton of units. He's not working towards that. Like, look, he's got the Templar Archives, but no Stargate, so Arbiters are a mile away if he's going to go for it, and EMP Shockwave is already, like, in the process. So K-Saw, whenever they move it out, they're going to be in a terrifying position. It's actually going to be Storm, not moving towards Arbiters or Stasis. So I'm not sure how much I like what we're going to see here from Circling. And a big part of that, I just noticed, he never took the gas at his natural.
Oh yeah, there's no way you can afford to get all these like Templar and stuff on 1 gas. I know that this style of not getting Arbiters and instead getting Templar has become more popular lately. But like, it's not a style where you sit back and macro up. It's a style where you're constantly like storm dropping, constantly trying to kill tanks. And it seems like after that Reaver dies, Circling is kind of backed up. He's trying to rebuild, trying to make up for those probes not being made. He's now just about caught up to his Terran opponent, but he could be that much farther ahead.
You're saying caught up, like, yeah, the worker count got even, but look, Terran's up 30 supply. That is terrifying.
That's a bad sign for Protoss.
I think right now there's more factories than functional gateways.
I think you're right. We do have a shuttle moving out with 2 Templar and 2 Zealots, so this could be a potential to do some damage. But will it even matter? Like, there's already enough units on the field that I'm really scared for Protoss.
Yeah, it's just this little group of goods, especially if that gets called out here, and K-Sauce can eliminate that. This is going to be really bad, but even still, K-Sauce, if they just move across the map and they just want to go for an attack, like, look at all these bases. There's pylon walls to slow you down, I guess, but you go to the natural, it's Zealots and a Storm. Like, none of this matters as long as K-Sauce wants to commit to doing it. Now, they did use some scans earlier on just to see what's going on. Here comes that Storm drop. Lots of MCs being killed. Yeah, a pretty significant amount. I wouldn't say it's like a lot though, because it didn't get him a big worker lead. It kind of just evened things up. So good damage going down here. It does force K-Sauce to pull back to help defend against it, but still, this isn't the situation you want to be in where you're getting a big storm drop like that and it doesn't get you ahead. It's trying to catch you up at this point. Now, Terran's +2/+1 did finish up, so I'm expecting to see that move out soon. So Army's starting to get really formidable, and still, K-Sauce doing a great job spending their money. With this 2-base, like, look at that. Having so few minerals at this point, actually flowing gas. I still want to see them start to take a 3rd base, but look at this push moving across. Certainly is not in a position to see this. I don't think they're in a position to defend this at all.
Yeah, I think you're right. This army is just, there's like 3 goons. It's not going to be enough to stop it all these vultures. Oh, and Zealot's speed's not even done yet. It's like halfway done. Yeah, this is gonna be absolutely brutal.
Storm. Yeah, let's go to it's on vultures. You gotta use those on the tanks. The vultures are whatever at this point. If you're losing the fight because of the vultures, like, that's your fight was never gonna be won to begin with. You see K-Saw moving forward. He goes right through that high ground. He's killing off a lot of things here. You can see there's a Templar. He has no energy to do another bit of storm, and these slow Zealots walk into a field of fully upgraded vultures at this point. The siege goes down. Things are spread out well. One good storm might be enough to help here, but the ground forces are completely eliminated for Circling.
Yeah, I mean, K-Sauce didn't even siege for the longest time. Didn't even have to. Looks like they're going to be going down to the natural, going to choke off all of the gateways, and that is one of the problems with this map for Protoss is that you don't have that place to build your secondary set of gateways. So once you get contained, you're kind of stuck.
During all this, certainly did do another storm drop at the natural for the Terran. He got a couple more SCVs, but still not enough to matter. When there's an army barreling down, it's going to definitely kill your natural expansion. Not enough to matter. Certainly going to tap out of game one. And Cake Sauce, that is the way you lose a PvT, that you're terrified. It's just like, what did your opponent do? They defended, they got a 2-1 push, they walked across the map, you instantly lost. That is, like, you don't want to take that opponent on for a standard game after that, right? Like, because you saw what happens, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. not like this.
I feel like the reason that Protoss fell behind was they just didn't make probes. You know, they were focused too much on the drop, which got some value, not enough to justify that. So maybe we'll see more focus on that in game 2.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see, but we're in game 2 on Polypoid. See how this one goes instead. In the top right, in the green, it's Cake Sauce, currently up 1-0, and the bottom left in that orange, it's Circling. So cross spawns on a pretty macro-focused map, and if you play that kind of reasonably straight-up game and got beat, I don't mind going for like just a little bit of a YOLO, just saying screw it. How about 12 next? Let's just go for it.
Yeah. I feel like we don't see that at all in CPL.
Well, it's like, remember how you were just saying, it's like, oh, like you get cheesed enough on the ladder, you do all these things, and then it's like you go play CPL, you'll play a standard straight up game. I wonder if there's some kind of stigma against like these real eco cheese too, doing Nexus first or CC first or any sort of things. It's like, it's not like they're bad or even like terribly risky. Maybe the people at CPL level will have quite the micro they need to where your basic use or what carries you through makes it viable, but still, like, you're on a 4-player map, your opponent's got to be able to scout in time, they got to know the reaction to what to do there. I think it's worth the risk for something like this.
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, I obviously think that because I have done plenty of 12 Nexus in my matches. They just don't get cast.
Well, how's it go?
Pretty well. I have not lost a game with a 12 Nex yet.
Ooh, so you just do it every time then.
Yeah, pretty much. I have PVZ now, so you can't really. It's a very different math equation to go Nexus first in that matchup.
All right, so we're seeing a little bit of a difference here. Cake Sauce actually getting this early gas instead, so not going to be doing that like really fast CC, not doing a little bit of that barracks expander. Going to be able to get these factories on and get some pressure on. The question is going to be: is the Cake Sauce a standard kind of honorable Terran, or are they a dirty 2-factor?
Well, to see. I mean, I feel like if you know that you won a macro game so handily, I don't think you'd like. I feel like you had to resort to cheese. Although I do feel like if you win game 1, doing something cheesy in game 2 is really strong. Because like if you lose, whatever, you just go to game 3. But like they're already going to be off a bit from losing the first game, and they're going to be thinking about like, oh man, how could I stop that drop? How could I have taken more bases? Not going to be thinking about, oh god, what if he has 8 tanks or like 3 or 4 tanks coming from a 2-fag?
No, I don't think that's what we're going to be seeing this time. Cake Sauce does start the factory and pulls a couple guys out of the gas, so that's usually the indicator for early expansion from the Terran here instead of doing anything too insane. But we're gonna there's still an opportunity if you keep pounding out Marines. Maybe you can turn this into something that puts a little bit of pressure on. I don't think that's too unreasonable to see here. But that certainly does have that scout. They're gonna see what's going on here, and especially like the big thing I'm scouting for right now is, did the guys get pulled out of the gas? That's great information. It's probably staying alive a pretty long time as Cake Sauce is about to roll into the Protoss space and see that it looks so unbelievably normal that there's no info to be had here.
Yeah, like this is even like exactly the same SimCity that Circling did last game. With the gateway like above the gas and a bit to the left and the core to the right of the Nexus. All so right. I guess Circling has probably practiced this and gotten very comfortable with it.
Yeah, I guess it didn't look like it messed up the rallies right there. It's just one of those things I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen people do that, but I mean, hey, whatever works. Now, Cake Sauce is getting a fast machine shop. We'll see what the first upgrade is, or is it just to make a tank? Looking like maybe want to get a little pressure on. They made some 4 Marines. They're still making Marines, so I'm expecting a little bit of that FD style push, put some pressure on the opponent, force them to be able to defend it. which from what we're seeing right now, certainly doesn't have anything on the map to slow the push down. Just the fact that it's cross spawns.
Yeah, we'll see. It will definitely come down to micro. This is one of those things, like, if you want to play Protoss on ladder, it's just one of those micro things that you just have to learn.
What, slowing down the push? You gotta be a little forward. Yeah, because you don't want it to just show up at your door. And especially the way they're doing it here, they're making that second factory, and they're researching mines. So it's going to be a little bit stronger, waiting for that second tank to really make sure you're bolstering it. Still making Marines, too. So you see a couple of goons are going to push out here. The rain's about to finish as well. Certainly has to be careful. This is the kind of push with this extra muscle. If you lose these early goons because you're not paying attention, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you need every goon alive. You really need to hit that like critical amount of like 4 or even 6 goons to smash this push. Now, by now, he should definitely know what's coming. Seeing all these Marines doing a good job kiting, only taking a shield damage for the most part on that one goon. Managed to pick up 1 Marine.
Yeah, doing a good job slowing things down the best they can. Now, K-Sauce is not going the way the goons are. They're trying to abuse that high ground and then turning around, like trying to play a little bit of check-in. He's losing a decent amount of these Marines here and it's buying time for more rounds or goons to get made. This is exactly what Sterling needs to do here as we're moving forward. The K-Sauce still getting delayed, not walking through immediately. And 1 Vulture moving forward, but mines are done. You can reinforce from here. But still, this bought time. The CC now being started. Siege mode being researched too. KXS still going to move across, see what they can get as an opportunity. And certainly feeling the pressure, actually making a shield battery front. I'm not sure how much I feel about that. But if that's the difference that saves you, that's not a terrible thing to do here. Now, KXS is up at the front of the base. He doesn't have siege mode yet, but still, it's a decent amount of tanks. A couple mines as well. So he's going to be able to wait for siege mode and then kind of encroach in with these mines being able to slow things down.
Yeah. Oh man, I have so much trouble dealing with what Cake Sauce is doing right here. It's just like strong FD and to like contain and then get up, get siege mode, get turrets, like get depots here. It's so hard to break as Protoss.
Well,
unfortunately, Circling does have an observer, so he should be able to start killing these mines. But like siege mode is almost done.
Yeah, and I like the bunker placement far enough back he could spread out these tanks as well. But they're still up with the bunker, so if the goons really want to be aggressive, they should be able to, after they kill off these mines, be able to go in for it from here. Cake Sauce really paying attention to what they see up at the front here, the macro falling off a little bit as this happens, but that CC does get finished transferring some workers over. But, like, look back at home, Cake Sauce didn't add on more factories, they're not working on upgrades, so this is a little bit unfortunate, so much attention going here. I'm hoping that we see something happen from this. The SCV is being retreated back at home as well now that they finished the bunkers.
But we see a fast Citadel from Circling, but in the meantime, he's trying to bust out here. They tank out a little bit too forward. Very nice pickoff from Circling. Only this is 1 goon for the trouble, and honestly, I think at this point he could dive and kill the second tank, and then the rest of this contain is not really threatening at all. Looks like he's gonna let the shield battery tank some more hits.
Well, I mean, it's unpowered, so at this point, you're just buying some time. It's like the tanks are not quite in range to get to those nexus, so you can keep trying to lay down these mines, but with the observer here, and now look, even a shuttle in the mix, that's going to be 1 good zealot you can drop and try to get something done. Vulture trying to move forward, see what's going on, picking up a couple of these zealots.
Yeah, they go. Toss is out. He does not want to fight that anymore. But like honestly, he's up 12 workers. Sterling's struggling again, and now Sterling is kind of in a weird tech spot, like this really early zealot speed with not that many zealots, getting Templars really early, like even before the third base. It's definitely going to be incumbent on Sterling to do some damage to make up for this.
Yeah, I think there is an opportunity to go from here. I think when you're in a spot like this and you don't really have the units to make use of some of these upgrades, this might be starting to make that investment go towards the like maybe a 2-base arbiter, try to like get something fancy and get something done here. Now he's got that shuttle over by the natural. It just has zealots in it, but you can see the Marines already in position to make sure that doesn't happen. And Cake Sauce, just their economy looking pretty comfortable, starting to add on more factories. They got an armory rolling with some upgrades as well. So I think we're going to see Cake Sauce hit that stride that where they were in the first game and Circling, while the situation is not nearly as bad, they're getting that third base up. They didn't invest like Reaver Tech. They ended up losing or anything. They're still down a lot of workers for no particular reason. It's a little unfortunate to see this keep happening.
Maybe he didn't read the situation quite correctly with the containment. He thought it was a 2-fac and thought all I have to do is survive and I'll be fine. So he didn't make workers. Or maybe it's just something that he struggles with in general.
I think it, maybe a little bit more on the lines of the struggle. Now, Stargate is going down, so that does leave me the indication that maybe this will be a kind of Arbiter build, which now that third base being taken at the middle only, I like that a lot less. Like,
yeah.
Well, but K-Sauce building up their own third CC as well. We're going to be able to get that settled up while they keep building up. I'm expecting to see what we saw before, just getting that second army going for +2, +1, adding on a bunch of factories later, and spending the money while you have it now. Okay, so it is floating a decent amount of minerals, but the gas income's really the thing restricting what they could spend, so don't mind what we're seeing here at all from the Terran player.
Definitely going to lead into a very strong late game like we saw last time.
Yeah, I'm really worried, though, because we saw that last time. There was just nothing Circling could do. It wasn't even like, oh, there was a big mistake in the fight. That was just a rolling force from Terran that was not going to be stopped anytime soon. Now, there is a probe moving down towards 6 o'clock. If Circling is going to try to take a fourth base right now, I feel way more comfortable about that, really trying to get things going. Arbiter Tribunal on the way, but also, like I was saying, here comes that starport. Here comes that second armory, so I think Cake Sauce going to be playing very similar to what we did in Game 1. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just feel comfortable with that strong late game army and force your opponent to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, and you mentioned that this third base is mineral only, and Circling is trying to split his limited gas between Templars and Arbiters. That's going to be really hard. I mean, you see right now the Arbiter Tribunal is done. He doesn't have the gas for even one Arbiter, let alone like an Arbiter and Stasis.
And look at K-Sauce. They're adding on a bunch of factories now.
Oh my God.
I saw them scan their base just to find observers. Just to be like, I don't want you to know what I'm doing before. Yeah, then the factory. Yeah. So I love that.
Really,
that like, little bit of awareness. That's super cool to see.
Yeah, really, really solid practice play from our Terran player here.
But, I mean, Arbiter on the way, Stasis being researched, but look at this. It's 4 gateways versus it's going to be 7 factories.
Oh, no.
How do you keep up with this as Circling? Like, you're doing a good job macroing what you have, but you're going to hit that point where it's like, oh, I can't spend all my money anymore. You're going to be a terrible spot. Now, here comes that first observer. It's up at the front. If he gets noticed and gets killed off by these Goliaths, that's going to be real bad. I see it. I heard scans. He's looking for him again, I think. Or now he's scanning around. He's trying to find Protoss Tech, and he just misses that Stargate. So he's not going to see the Arbiter Tech, although you would assume it's there.
Having seen the archives, although I think he did scan the army and see Templars, so you might assume that there's no Arbiters.
Yeah, because I mean that's what it was in the last game. It was Templar with Storm, no Arbiters.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you just saw that and you're kind of making a guess at it, maybe that's where you're going for. The scans did also see that 6 o'clock base and the mineral only. So, real big knowledge about what's going on here. There's still that shuttle that's hanging out at the mineral only, hopefully not forgotten about. I've definitely made that mistake plenty of times where there's a shuttle, you're like, oh, man. Those are units that could have been useful or an opportunity to maybe do some storm drops. The observer's going to see that K-Saw starting to bleed onto the map a little bit, trying to get a little bit of a comfort zone, I think, before they try to take a third base up at that mineral base. But here comes K-Saw, bleeding out onto the map. They're working towards their next set of upgrades, pretty far away, but still, pretty intimidating army here, and there's no process to slow anything down at all. We're seeing more scans going down just around the middle of the map to make sure the coast is clear as they push towards that 6 o'clock area.
Here we go. It looks like Circling is trying to arrange his army to deal with this. I would have liked to see him like take the high ground, but it looks like he's not going to get there quite in time.
Well, look at these Templar. They're so jacked up in energy. Storm's being researched now.
No.
Not ready, unfortunately. Oh, and look from K-Sauce. He took the 3 o'clock base and he's taking his own mineral. So he's going to be up to 4 base against the 4 base Protoss. This is a terrible situation for Zergling if he can't manage to find an opportunity to do something about it. One little scouting, Zell is going to walk through, find a couple mines, and I guess you would assume that mineral base is there because it's being defended, but he didn't get close enough to actually confirm it and see it with their eyes.
There's an observer about the mineral.
Ah, yes.
Think the bank's starting to go down. So there you go. And at the 3 o'clock, it is online. There are siege tanks, and there are workers being transferred there right now. So Kickstarter slot, like you said, is on 3 base, about to hit 4 base. And Circling definitely needs to do something to change that. Probably get like two more bases himself.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Double Forge rolling out some upgrades, Arbiters being produced, and more gateways were added, but still not a tremendously high amount considering you're on a 4-base economy at this point. We keep seeing K-Sauce scanning around trying to see what's going on. I think he's looking to see if Circling did take more bases, which unfortunately he's not finding anything because Circling is still just on 4. And I think K-Sauce is thrilled to death if that's what you see, that you're about to hit max and your opponent hasn't even gone for any kind of big attack or anything. They've not big up on a ton of like production so they could remax or anything. I think K-Sauce takes one direct fight once this +2 weapons goes through, and Circling's got to have a hell of a time actually defending it.
I think you're right.
I mean, Circling does have a lot more army, and I like that he's trying to position in a good spot to engage a good midfield fight. But I don't think the way K-Sauce, the way they're playing, I don't think they're just going to walk through the middle of the map. It doesn't seem like the move you'd want to do here. Maybe down the bottom towards one direction, so it's harder to get flanked by a Protoss and being set up like what Circling's doing. But as I say that, middle of the map, fucking whatever.
I agree, but you know, who cares? Just unsiege and go down the middle of the map, right? What could go wrong?
Nothing could go wrong. Absolutely nothing. More factories being added on, 3+3+2 being started as well, and we are now at max for both players. So we gotta see what players are gonna do from here. But here comes that fight in the middle of the map. K-Sauce moving forward has a decent amount of vultures, are in a good position. Nothing sieged up just yet. I know there's arbiters made. Here's one coming in from the side. Decent stasis, but it's not a tank. Yeah, only vultures, not tanks.
You know, Arbiter number 2 does have the energy for one more stasis. Oh, we almost have a 3rd stasis ready to go with this mana. So could be some big plays here.
K-Sauce just for free got to walk down south and avoid one of the flank passes. Half of Circle's army is far away, not involved in the fight at all. Now there is the Arbiter doing some decent cloaking, scans finally going down. And enough stuff is stasis that K-Sauce army is kind of hurt a little bit here, but still Circling not really taking the opportunity to engage against the stasis, so while it's slowing things down, it's not really being combat effective here.
Yeah, I feel like there was a big opportunity for Circling to jump on that army, but you know, being a bit scattered, not expecting K-Sauce to take this exact path, it really hurt him. And now these stasis units are about to come out when the fight starts. A big storm on the tanks on the left flank of the fight, but all the zealots get cleaned up. Are the goons going to retreat in time? Looks like half of them do.
Well, staying dethroned from stasis just in time as well. K-Sauce still has plenty of tanks available. Not even siege right now, just muscling their way through using that raw DPS of normal mode tanks. And in an instant, that fight went from both sides losing about the same amount of supply to K-Sauce shooting 30 ahead right away. Both players replenishing with what production they have back at home. But look at the money we see from both players. K-Sauce on a pretty big bank, pushing towards his mineral only base, which has barely any defense at all. Now Circling's going to try to position the middle map to cut off some reinforcements. This could be an opportunity to gain some ground here, but it is going to cost them a base to even try it.
I do like this. If you know that you can't fight the main army, find something that you can fight. You have to hope that you can just expand fast enough to make up for these bases going down. And we do see Protoss expanding in the top left and bottom right, but their army is too small. I don't know if he's going to be able to save his own main base.
Yeah, so now K-Sauce is being very slow and patient using that high ground, not hard committing into these kind of attacks, so there might be an opportunity, but Circling doesn't have a presence in the middle of the map. Like, I feel like this is going to be a rough situation, and if you wanted to make a move where you're like all right, he's in a rough spot. He's trying to move forward. I think a recall, if you would have been a much better option than trying to do these stasis in the middle of the field like this, and then not engage the fight anyway. You might as well try to send a couple zealots in the base, hit some of the production, machine shops, get something done here. Certainly getting some units caught out in the middle of the map as Caisons reinforces their attack moving through, holding this true by that mineral-only base, and they're going to be able to lock off that 6 o'clock as well, or push it to natural. Caisons also finds that lower right base with some vultures as well.
Yeah, that base is going to get shut down. At least there's one in the top left, but I don't think probes are going to make to that base. In the meantime, we have zealots managing to get right on top of the tanks on this high ground pod. The vultures do show up, but not before a good amount of tanks go down. I don't know if it's enough with this like big wave of reinforcements.
I would say not. Look at that supply leads. Caisons up about 100 supply now and has 3-2 finish though. This is like peak terror. This is what it looks like right here. Sieged up in a position. It's gonna be hard to go through. And look, some vultures rolling through 6 o'clock base. Seeing what the defense look like. It is an arbiter and a couple cannons, so it's gonna be hard to go through. I do keep seeing a little movement from circling, trying to find some opportunities with these observers or shuttles trying to get something, but they keep getting taken out by the anti-air. Caisons closing in on the natural with a very imposing force here, and there's just no defense. A great storm, but it is not going to be nearly enough.
Yeah, I think Caisons has closed out this game and this series. In the top left, you see a bunch of SCVs coming to kill that base. But the real story is all these tanks, all this macro, such like a well executed game plan from the beginning. Caisons demonstrating like they're so solid with the fundamentals of how to play Terran.
Yeah, that did not look like tier 2 Terran play. That looked very solid. So kudos to the coach of that team and the Blind teaching well. So I do believe though that is going to be the wrap up for the night. Unfortunately, all 2-0s. We didn't get to see any circuit breakers at all. My heart weeps for the thought of it.
On the other hand, I would die happy if I never saw that map ever again.
God, y'all are haters. Fine. You know what? Like, let me pick the macro match. We can go back in the day. We could do the real fun stuff. Eye of the Storm. We could play Andromeda. Like, we could have a great time. But you cowards won't let me do it. That's going to be the end of the cast for us tonight. Cole Warpgates, thank you as always for joining me, buddy. Always a great time.
No problem. I'm always glad to be here.
All right, fantastic. Like I said, there's going to be a couple more CPL casts throughout the week. Definitely Strom calling and Least hitting up some fun games later this week. Keep an eye on the CPL Discord for details. And other than that, just March 6th, save the date. King of the Tiers tournament before playoffs really gets in swing. Push hard to make sure your teams finish well in the regular season. Try to fight for that bye so you don't get eliminated in the first round of playoffs. Until then, see you all next week for some more Match of the Week, and hope everyone has a good night.
Good night, everybody.